Use it to help Spelman.
One of the things I've committed to this Board of Trustees at Spelman College is that I will try to bring as much business to this institution as I possibly can. And that would be through a new financial or business model. You know, we live off of very few sources of revenue. But if we looked at our institutions through the lens of what we could monetize, things like our online learning programs, that right now through the number of, high school students that need certifications, could we provide those?
Spelman was recently one of several schools that billionaire Arthur Blank donated to. I'm Bloomberg's Justin Milliner on the Black Business Beat.
Pros, save more on what you need to get the job done right. Right now at Lowe's. Get 15% off select custom entry and interior doors. Plus, save $80 on the DeWalt 20-volt Max 2-tool combo kit. Now just $169. And at the Lowe's Pro Desk, bring us your materials list and get a quote in minutes. Handwritten, a photo, or even a sticky note is all you need. Keep your jobs moving faster and on budget at Lowe's. Valid through 7/8 while supplies last. Selection varies by location.
With Fidelity Wealth Management, a dedicated advisor gets to know you and your goals to build a comprehensive plan to help grow and protect your wealth. Backed by a team of specialists, they'll analyze all your accounts, even the ones they don't manage, to keep an eye on taxes and provide proactive portfolio insights that can help you unlock your wealth's full potential. Learn more at fidelity.com/wealth. Investment minimums apply. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC. Member NYSE SIPC.
You're listening to Milwaukee Black Talk
on 101.7 FM.
The Truth.
And 1510 AM.
W269DL.
Milwaukee, a Milwaukee Black media company.
Steps to the mic with a boom ping ping. Wisdom sharper than a beast's fierce sting. Words like fireflies that light the night. He turns the dark into blazing bright. Boom ping ping, the truth takes wing. Milwaukee's voice, let the city sing. Boom ping ping, hear the freedom ring. Sherwin's the king, oh the airwaves king. Shake the ground, unveils the truth where lies abound. Politics, justice, social streams. He molds the chaos into dreams. No silence here, just the sound of change. Boom, ping, ping, rearrange. Boom, ping, ping, the truth takes wing. Milwaukee's voice, let the city sing. Boom, ping, ping, hear the freedom ring. Sherwin's the king, or the airwaves king. Through the static, through the noise, he amplifies the people's voice. Boom, ping, ping, like a heartbeat's call. He's got the wisdom to break down walls. Yeah.
Good morning. Welcome to the program. Today is Wednesday, July 8th, 2026. We are actually running out of options when it comes to how we can create safer environments for the residents of the city of Milwaukee. I know yesterday I talked about it. I believe they may have discussed it on the morning show, that crime has actually gone down statistically in the categories in which the city has made public. I think there's some other categories where crime probably has gone up, but why would you report on those? Let's start with the good news first. And I also want to level set here for a second. So after George Floyd, there was a phenomenon that happened across the nation when it comes to public safety. A lot of police officers were because we have these generational shifts of police officers. So right around the time of the Rodney King beating, there was a large number of Los Angeles police officers that were at retirement age, and a lot of them did leave the force. And so what you'll have is a precipitous drop in uniformed officers that are available for patrols, answering calls, et cetera, et cetera. So there's got to be a pretty significant recruiting effort. But because policing has changed so much, and there was a tremendous amount of scrutiny under policing, especially during the Obama years, where you had these consent decrees where cities now had to provide all of this data and this information to the Department of Justice, because a lot of police departments do get federal funding. Like if you can establish that there's, let's say, a burglary problem or a car theft problem or serious drug offenses in your city, those cities can then write to the federal government, to the Department of Justice, and get grants to help combat these upticks in crimes in these specific categories. Right? So if you have this changing environment of policing where cops are now being scrutinized for racial profiling, and you had consent decrees, and then policing was scrutinized, especially after George Floyd, even though there was not a George Floyd justice in policing bill, which would have put a lot more federal oversight over local law enforcement. That piece of legislation did not pass. What Joe Biden did is he enacted some, I guess, stricter parameters, I'd call it, over federal law enforcement. And Joe Biden was able to do that with an executive order. He did not need an act of Congress. But it's rarely federal officers that are having the negative interactions with members of the public. It's usually the municipal cops that we deal with every single day. But because the climate has changed and because there was a defund the police movement, people don't want to be cops anymore. If you look up, I think it's Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, because we were finding that a lot of those Los Angeles police officers during the Rodney King era that retired within a couple year span, that was probably early 1990s, they moved to a really unique place in Idaho and started, and like national, like white nationalist organizations started popping up. It's a really interesting phenomenon where a lot of Los Angeles retired police officers, they moved out of LA, of course. They don't want to be anywhere close to LA, but they moved to like these white utopias. The craziest thing ever. Like they went to small towns and then they gentrified small white towns in like Idaho. It's crazy phenomenon. So I think that gives you some perspective on who police officers at least were at one point in time. I'm not sure who the hell they are right now. But because policing has been so incredibly scrutinized, there's a whole bunch of things you can't do. You know what I found so fascinating is that when the cops were told, you can't choke anybody anymore, they're like, oh, why? When they banned chokeholds, I swear I thought all the cops were going to go on strike when they found out. It's not funny, but it's just, it does limit what the police have in their arsenal when they need to get control of a potentially violent, drug-addicted suspect. Now, we hope that those situations are few and far between. But as a member, just a regular member of the public, who am I to say what a police officer can and cannot do? I know you can't kill them. We know that much. But because there's this moving goalpost and changing perspectives on policing and law enforcement and public safety, nobody wants to be a cop anymore. We know that we are short 200 officers here in the city of Milwaukee. I'd imagine that number will go up before it goes down. Yesterday, I went over some information on what it takes to actually make it through the academy, whether it be the written test, the physical test, all of the psychological examinations, the background checks, passing the drug test. It's an infinitesimally small number of how many 18 to 30-year-old Milwaukeeans right now would actually be able to pass the academy, somewhere between 10 and 20%. And that is of people that want to actually be cops. So if 100 18 to 30-year-olds applied for the academy, we might get 10 or 20 police officers out of that academy. And the whole process it's got to take a year or more, right? So even if we were to reduce the shortage that we have, It's going to take a really, really long time. And so I'm going to propose a solution that may be controversial, but I'm going to back it up. I'm not necessarily in support of this solution because I know that public safety is an issue. It's an issue for us here. We talk about it on 1017 The Truth. I'm sure you all discuss it with your friends and your family. And it also has a real serious economic impact, so we've got to take it seriously. I don't know if the gubernatorial candidates have identified public positions on how they can help assist the city of Milwaukee in combating crime, even though we found out that a handful of numbers at the midway point of the year. Remember, we still got 6 more months of 2026 left to go. Now, crime can spike in any one given point in time. I have not heard from the gubernatorial candidates because usually they would come out with, like, here's what my plan is to combat the unemployment rate. Here's what my plan is to combat, I don't know, environmental stuff. Here's what my plan is to reduce crime in the city of Milwaukee. They're not even bothering with that, which makes me a little bit nervous because it doesn't seem like there's a robust effort to court voters in the city because, let's face it, you Milwaukee people are needy. And if they can ignore and sidestep you, well, then that's less work that they have to do. But our ability to keep law and order is constrained by a couple of things. By budgets. We don't have an unlimited amount of money here to invest in policing. It's constrained by the 200 officers that we are short. And it's also constrained by the lack of demand for careers in criminal justice and in policing, especially since George Floyd. A lot of police officers retired, and with those retirements, there have not been enough people to fill the positions that were left vacant. And we're going to start seeing this in a whole bunch of different fields, and this is why people might be afraid of AI, because the baby boomer generation who should be long retired, the oldest baby boomers turn 80 this year. The youngest are somewhere around 65 or 66. And when they retire from their positions, there may not be enough Generation X. And we're end of career as well, Generation X. We're looking at retirement. In fact, I think I have an interview today, Xavier, with somebody from AARP. This is good because I'm at the AARP age. I'm trying to see what kind of benefits I get. Do I get to go to the movies for free? Do I get a free small cup of coffee when I go to the McDonald's? How I'd like the senior discount? Oh, I'm not ashamed at all to get a senior discount.
You'll find out at 11 a.m.
11 a.m. But I think I'm talking about them talking with the person from AARP about something specific. But whatever. Baby boomers are retiring. There's nobody to fill in their position. So AI might come in and fill some of these positions that are going to be left vacant by a retiring largest generation in American history, that is the baby boomer. So here's what I'm thinking. Here's what I'm proposing. I'm not necessarily supporting it, but we're only one election away from this actually happening. The National Guard. Hold on. Chill out. Relax. We do need more law enforcement support. We do. We don't have the cops. People don't want to be cops. Even the people in this city between the ages of 18 and 30, they wouldn't pass the background check, the physical examination. Hell, half of them probably wouldn't even be able to pass the drug screening. We need additional help. We don't have the money here in the city of Milwaukee to make larger investments in public safety. What if we just had a little bit of the National Guard, let's say, to ease the burden on local law enforcement, like, around holidays, or on entertainment districts like Brady Street and Water Street? Because here's the problem. So you have the different police districts. I think we have 7 police districts spread out throughout the city. But when you have a heavy presence on, say, Brady Street and Water Street, and I'm using those 2 examples because they are the most well-known, you've got to pull cops from neighborhoods. And you don't want to do that because there's stuff going on in the neighborhoods where we need police officers to be on the ready and able to respond to calls in neighborhoods. But if you have a shortage of cops already, and then there's a disproportionate number that need to be downtown, if you have lakefront fireworks, do they do lakefront fireworks still, or is it just drone shows? Do they still do the fireworks? X?
I have no idea. Okay. I don't like that.
You don't like the fireworks?
No, I'm at 12.
Oh, all right. Fair enough. Good point. So why not have a little National Guard support? Now, let me say a little piece on this. I'm going to take a break. We're going to dig into it. I also have some arrest statistics I want to share with you because the crime problem is, some of it is just subjective. It's like how we feel about it, because you may feel unsafe, but nothing has ever happened to you. There are people who have never been victims, but they feel unsafe wherever they go. Even though nothing has happened to them, they just don't feel safe. We sometimes call those people paranoid, but if you read the news and if you're scrolling your social media feeds, you'll see all these terrible things. And it's natural to think, well, if all these horrible things are happening, they just found a body in a car and then the car was set on fire. Ooh, that's terrible. That's nasty work right there. And you read all these things, it does have an effect on you. And you think that, oh my, I may be next. Even though you've never been a victim, you think you're going to be next. So the feeling of safety is very much personal and subjective. Black people are not against over-policing. Black people never have been. We want to see more patrols, and it's interesting because the people who were impacted by over-policing, like they got caught, they are the ones that are most vocal about over-policing. But every so often, don't you want to see a squad car? Like, I can go entire days, and I live on the north side, and not see a squad anywhere. Nowhere. Now I'm thinking, wow, my north side neighborhood is like a suburb, because you can hang out in the suburbs and not see any police at all. They just don't patrol as much, or they're spread out over a much larger area. But I don't know if that's necessarily a good thing, especially when we have all these traffic infractions still. You want to see patrols. Here's what we don't like about over-policing. Because if you're one of those people that you're for the police, you want to see more of them, you want more arrests to be made. I'm even listening to some of the things that you all are saying. Y'all are just serious with it. But I'm also understanding why the 1994 crime bill came to fruition, because black people wanted a bunch of black people locked up. I'm hearing stuff now like, we need to remove these people from the city. Somebody posted a comment on my YouTube program last night. Like, Sherwin, what can we do to get these people out of the city? This is black people talking about removing other black people. And so when that's the sentiment, that's where the 1994 crime bill came from. We didn't care what kind of impact it had. We wanted an immediate decrease in crime, murders, homicides, drug dealing, all of those things. Here's the problem with over-policing. If you're one of those people that you want more police, you want to see more patrols, you want to subjectively feel safe, you want all the YNs to go to YN Island, maybe we just put them all on an island somewhere, because y'all sure hate the YNs. And here's what's crazy. Some of them are your kids and your grandkids. Let's get rid of the YNs. Just ship them out of here. Let them YN themselves to death somewhere. The problem with over-policing is, let's say you've had a real busy week and you haven't gone to get your emissions test for your vehicle, and you have not yet renewed your stickers for your license plate, because in Wisconsin, you don't have to show registration, because, you see in the movies, license and registration, please. Cops don't have to ask you for your registration in Wisconsin because your sticker is your registration. But you didn't get a chance to go get the emissions test. You're going to do it. You're going to get there to one of the emissions testing stations. You've just been busy. You've been very busy going to Potawatomi and having sex or whatever it is that you guys like to do. And then you get pulled over and you're already late to work. That is the problem with over-policing, because when you saturate a crime-ridden area, everybody gets a piece of over-policing. You get pulled over for having your windows tinted in over-policing scenarios. You're going to get a citation for not wearing your seatbelt when there is over-policing. You're going to get a citation because you need to get a new muffler, and your muffler fell off of your Toyota Corolla and it sounds like a drag car, and you're going to get a ticket for that. That is what we don't like and what we sometimes don't understand about over-policing. We think that if we saturate an area with cops, all the YNs will scatter like little black roaches, and the YNs will go away. No. Everybody is going to feel some impact from over-policing. So I'm going to take a break, come back. I'm going to explore the idea of the National Guard relieving and easing some duties of Milwaukee police officers. I'm not necessarily in support of it. Let's just have a conversation, because guess what? If Tom Tiffany gets elected, that's what you're going to have. We are one summer and one election away from the National Guard being deployed. And I've got a story I want to share with you about such a scenario. So I was in Memphis over the weekend. Oh, the National Guard is thick in Memphis. Oh, yes. Oh, it looks like it's militarily occupied. And I wasn't sure if I felt safe or not. But, oh, yeah, they're there, but they'll also like take selfies with you too. They're nice guys for the most part and nice women. But I got to see what it looks like. So there's a story I want to share with you out of Memphis because it's a very real scenario if we get a Republican governor, or depends on who the governor is, right? The governor can deploy the National Guard for temporary relief of local law enforcement because I think this summer is bad. It will likely get worse, and I don't think there's any signs of slowing as we approach the summer of 2027. So let's explore some ideas today, shall we? And, of course, your thoughts and feelings and comments are always welcome. You can call us at 833-212-1017, 833-212-1017. We also post it on the YouTube. If you haven't done so already, go to youtube.com or open up your YouTube app from your smartphone or other mobile device. Search 1017 The Truth. Hit subscribe, of course. You'll be able to see the live in-studio cameras. I'm wearing my Bucks green today. I don't even know who's on the Bucks team anymore. I think they might have signed me. I don't even know who the players are. I used to know them all. I don't know who plays for the team, but I'm wearing my Bucks green anyway. You'll also be able to participate in the YouTube chat, which is always salacious. Sometimes it's a little naughty. It's dirty. It's where the bad boys and bad girls go. And you'll be able to vote in our YouTube poll. And we're just going to ask you a simple question. Do you support or oppose the National Guard? Is that what I said, X? I don't even have it. I sent it to you and didn't even read it. Do you support or oppose the National Guard coming to Milwaukee? So we'd love to see your answers there. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. We'll be right back.
Don't touch that dial. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Mommy, can I sit in the front seat just this one time? Please, please, please.
No, not yet.
But why?
Because I love you, and you're just not ready yet. Now, get in the back so I can get you in your car seat, please.
Putting your kids in the right seat for their age and size is an act of love. Check that your kids are in the right seat at NHTSA.gov/the right seat. Love protects. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
In sitcoms, when someone has a problem, they just blurt it out and move on.
Well, I lost my job and my parakeet is missing. How was your day?
But the real world is different. Managing life's challenges can be overwhelming. So, what do? We get support. The Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council have mental health resources available for you at loveyourmindtoday.org. That's loveyourmindtoday.org. See how much further you can go when you take care of your mental health.
This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Policing is very expensive. Just for Brady Street. Regular patrol allocation. So this is how much we are paying for the assigned police officers of that particular district to patrol. This is just the Brady Street neighborhood. It's between $1.3 and $1.8 million for that one neighborhood. Overtime for patrolling Brady Street. And obviously overtime payments to these police officers will go up in the summer and the warm weather months. There's been a lot of soccer going on. I know that the Nomad used to be a real big soccer bar. I'm assuming it probably still is. Xavier's nodding his head. Overtime can range. This is just Brady Street now, an additional $250,000 to $500,000. Event deployments, another $300,000 to $600,000. Little side note on soccer. For real football fans, real football starts in 63 days. None of this World Cup mess. I tried. I'm trying. Soccer is a sport that kids play before they figure out what real sport they're going to play as they get older. I can't do it. I can't even get excited about it. All they're doing is running. That's all. They're just running. And they kick the ball, and then they're going down the field. Yay. And then somebody stops them from going down the field. Now the ball's going the other way. Yay. And then somebody falls, and then the ref pulls out a yellow card, and then they go running again. No, I don't care. It's the biggest sport in the world, mostly in third world countries, because they have nothing else. Just get the ball and just kick it. We will kick the ball and run and kick. That's estimated total for patrolling Brady Street is between $2.0 and $3.1 million a year. Private security funded by the Business Improvement District adds another $400,000 annually based on year-round contracted security guard coverage. Water Street is even more expensive. It's also large. I'm just trying to give you guys an economic perspective because we're always asking for new programs. Oh, we need to have this program, and we need to have this for the youth, and we need to have that. So then what are we going to cut? Because whenever you want something new, we have to get rid of something old. We cannot continue to add on. So I'm just giving you a scope of where we're at right now of how much policing is costing the city. This is not even citywide. This is just in 2 entertainment districts, and I'm using these as examples because these districts will pull officers from the neighborhoods where we sometimes need a heavy police presence. And this is why I'm introducing the idea of the National Guard. Not that I'm in support of it per se. In fact, I'm asking you guys on the YouTube poll. Let me see where you guys are at. 67% of respondents are not in support of National Guard patrols in Milwaukee. 33% of you say yes. That 33% is higher than I would expect. But our officers are burdened. They are overworked. We are paying them tremendous amounts of overtime. They need some kind of help, especially if people don't feel safe. And people don't feel safe all the time. You know what I was thinking? This is always dangerous when I'm thinking. If you are black, and some of you are, I consider you blessed if you are. And if you want to move you're sick of Milwaukee. You've had enough. The weather, the YNs, the crime, you hate it. You don't like the leadership. You don't like the schools. You don't like that there's not enough data centers here. Oh my gosh, you hate Milwaukee and you're a black. You're at an advantage if you move to a city, hear me out, where crime is higher in the white community. If you're black, move to a city where white on white crime is high because statistically, you're not likely to live in that neighborhood. Consequently, follow me on this. If you're a white person, and some of you are, I consider you privileged. Black, blessed, white privilege. It's fine. It's okay. You didn't ask to be born the race that you are. If you are white and you move to a city where black on black crime is high, you're likely to be safer because you probably will not live around or near the neighborhoods where those African Americans are committing the offenses against each other. Because if you take away the north side of the city of Milwaukee, not just the near north side, so not just the neighborhood that's just north of downtown, extended all the way out to the northwest side, the population is predominantly African American. But then if you look at surrounding areas, your Wauwatosas, your Oak Creeks, your St. Francis, and sometimes these places that I'm naming, these suburbs, share a border with Milwaukee. But the reduction in crime is tangible. So think about it. Where crime is highest amongst black people, white people are safest. So then the inverse has to be true. If crime is high amongst whites, if there's heavy white-on-white crime, you probably would be safer as a black person because that is not the neighborhood that you would live in. Because what black person wants to live in a white crime-ridden neighborhood? An interesting turn of events. So if you are considering moving somewhere else, look at what the whites are doing. You know, if the whites are battling it out and fighting it out and shooting it out, might be a city you may want to consider. Water Street is significantly larger economically because it serves convention visitors, the Deer District, the Fiserv Forum, downtown hotels, Summerfest visitors, sporting events, concerts, office workers, and nightlife. Annual visitors between 4.2 and 5.8 million people. Unique visitors to Water Street alone between 1.2 and 1.8 million visitors. Police costs for Water Street. Permanent downtown patrols, mounted units, bicycle cops. Why do bike cops wear such short shorts? It's the funniest thing I've ever seen. There were panties. Bike cops. Bike cops and UPS workers wear, remember what basketball shorts looked like in like 1984 where you could almost see a little cheek? I think it's the funniest thing ever that when you see mounted cops, you ever see them when they're like pedaling up a hill and their pedals are going real fast, but they're going like 1 mile an hour? It's so funny. And they're wearing their little panties. Special entertainment district units, traffic closures, overtime, and holiday deployments. Investigative reporting has also examined the city's law enforcement practices and staffing in the Deer District specifically. Water Street policing costs us $3.5 million a year, really between $2.8 and $3.6 million. I'm giving you a perspective of how damn expensive it is to patrol just specific neighborhoods in the city. And they pull police away from neighborhoods where we still need to have officers available to respond to calls. And so maybe I am making the case for the National Guard because it might save us a little bit of money because the city is funding these police officers and their overtime, and we're fattening their pensions. So you got to keep in mind, every time a cop makes more money, they make overtime, we're fattening their pension that we're going to have to pay forever. We got to lessen that because we're going to have another fiscal cliff where we're going to run out of money. We're going to run out of tax revenue, and we're not going to be able to pay these cops and their pensions. So we got to ease the burden. Even if we have to ease it for a year or two, we might save 10, 20, 30 million dollars. And that money that we save by bringing in the National Guard, we can use that money to invest in some of these anti-crime, anti-poverty programs. I'm over here thinking like a mayor now. Don't tempt me. Don't do it, because here's the worst thing that could happen to me. If I ran against Chevy and won, now everything is my fault. You think I want the responsibility of leading this city? No way. I would just walk around and yell at people. I come to work in my bathrobe. What are you going to do? I'm the mayor. What do you want me to do? Regular patrols of just Water Street, $2.8 to $3.6 million. Overtime adds another $800,000 to $1.4 million. Crowd control, $700,000 to $1.2 million additional tax dollars. Special event staffing adds another $500,000 to $900,000 a year. Estimated total cost for police presence on Water Street between $4.8 and $7.1 million a year. This does not include extraordinary deployments for events such as the 2024 Republican National Convention, which generated separate overtime expenditures for local cops. I'm going to take a break, come back. Maybe we should try it. Maybe the YNs will be afraid of the National Guard if they see them in their Humvees and their tanks, wearing the camouflage with their big old assault rifles. Maybe that's what we need. Let's just try it, see what happens. I'm not saying we got to be committed to it, but what if one of Tony Evers' last acts of governor is he sending them boys in to Water Street and Brady Street and stops the twerk fest? What if he did? What are you going to do? Not reelect Tony Evers? He's not running again. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. We'll be right back.
Don't touch that dial. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back on 101.7 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Life's better with American Family Insurance because we know you love working weekends. If it means working on your dream home, both inside and out. And we're here to help protect those dreams so you can enjoy peace of mind. Save up to 40% when you bundle home and auto. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products, pricing, and availability vary based on where you purchase insurance and by state. Some exclusions apply. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating companies, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Dreaming of owning your first home? Don't settle for a fixer-upper. Build a brand new home with Milwaukee Habitat for Humanity. They partner with first-time buyers to make home ownership possible with little to no down payment and a team that's on your side every step of the way. Even if you're just starting to explore what's possible, they're here to help you take the next step. If your household earns between $55,000 and $90,000 a year, you may qualify. Visit MilwaukeeHabitat.org to learn more.
Freedom has a history. Come experience it. Visit the Milton House Museum, Wisconsin's only certified Underground Railroad site open to the public. Tour the historic 1844 Inn, step down into the cellar, and walk through the underground tunnel in the footsteps of freedom seekers who risked everything on their journey to liberty. Hear powerful stories of courage, sacrifice, hope, and determination, and discover Wisconsin's connection to the Underground Railroad and the fight for freedom. Guided tours of the Milton House are available Tuesday through Sunday through Labor Day weekend. Learn more at miltonhouse.org.
For 250 years, our armed forces have bravely served America. Wounded Warrior Project honors that legacy by supporting post-9/11 service members and veterans like Anthony, a Marine who was injured by a roadside bomb in Afghanistan.
They carried me through my injuries, not just my physical, but my mental. And seeing other vets doing the same thing helped me tell myself, hey, you can do this.
Join us in honoring warriors at woundedwarriorproject.org/America.
In the United States, a vehicle is stolen every 31 seconds, about as long as this message. Luckily, you can take a few easy steps to protect your car in the same amount of time. Remove your valuables, roll up your windows, don't leave your car running unattended, lock your doors, and take your keys or fob. If you have information about a crime, call the police. If you suspect insurance fraud, also call 800-TEL-NICB. A public service message from the National Insurance Crime Bureau.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
I think I'm making the case for the National Guard to come to Milwaukee. It makes some fiscal sense. Let's take some money from the state budget instead of using our city budget and paying all this overtime for these upticks in, let's just say, unusual and uncharacteristic activity in some of our entertainment districts. And we do need to protect our entertainment districts because they bring in a tremendous amount of revenue, and we need that revenue to still come into the city of Milwaukee. E. Gibson via the YouTube chat says, should the districts with higher need of police presence pay higher rates for the usage of the police department? The only way you could do that, E. Gibson, so let's assume that some of the poorest and blackest neighborhoods have the highest need for policing. You could increase the property tax rates in those areas, but here's what would happen. People would lose their homes to tax foreclosure, and then what would happen? Those houses would get purchased by investors, by hedge funds, and by gentrifiers, who would then raise the rent on those properties, increasing the number of homeless and increasing the number of evictions. Or the neighborhood would get gentrified and then further raise the property taxes. So theoretically you could, but if you increase the property taxes in the poorest neighborhoods, there's going to be some unintended consequences that will end up costing more than the original intent of trying to get those high-need neighborhoods to fund their own policing. Linda says that I look good with my green Bucks logo. I know I do, Linda, but keep it in your pants now. We don't need no repeat of yesterday. We don't need that now. LaRon says if you're a Democratic city or safe haven and you request the National Guard, Trump is going to bill you. How can Trump bill us for a state deployment? The only way there's any federal connection, if Donald Trump, so National Guard are state troops. They're here in the state. So let's say there's a national disaster and we deploy the National Guard. The Trump administration is not paying for that. Only if Trump federalizes the National Guard, then the federal government pays for it. But the governor can send the National Guard in wherever they want to. Donald Trump can't send us a bill. That's like Donald Trump sending us a bill for our own police department. That's not how that works. What else do we got in the YouTube chat? Let's see. He can federalize the National Guard, but that's not the scenario we're talking about. We're talking about if the governor decides that, oh, you know what, there's too much burden on local law enforcement in the city of Milwaukee. And we only have a limited amount of money anyway because our shared revenue was only increased by 10%. And the police overtime is going to eat that up. So we have to worry about having enough money for stuff like snow removal and garbage pickup, basic infrastructure, water mains that break every single winter. Like, that stuff is expensive. Construction costs. Some of those things may suffer because we have such a heavy expenditure on policing. And I'd like to think that it's temporary. Maybe by next summer, the kids will have something else to do. Maybe they'll all just go to the park and play basketball. Maybe they found out that having YN summer and burdening the food trucks. Did closing the food trucks do it? Well, they didn't close them because the food trucks sued. So that didn't work. Brady Street has between 2 and 2.8 million visitors a year. Water Street has between 4.2 and 5.8. 650,000 to 900,000 unique visitors to Brady Street every year, 1.2 to 1.8 unique visitors to Water Street every year. Direct spending on policing just for Brady Street alone is between $95 and $135 million. Water Street, that spending is $250 to $340 million. No, that's how much money people spend, how much it costs for policing. No. Okay, that's how much that is. That's the economic impact that we have to protect. Let me restate that. The direct spending, people going to bars and to restaurants and buying stuff in the Brady Street neighborhood, is between $95 and $135 million a year in revenue. Water Street, the spending is $250 million to $340 million. That's a lot of money, and you got to protect that, because if people find those neighborhoods unsafe and they stop spending that money, then it's going to be a whole cascade of negative things that happen. And I'm looking at things economically, not necessarily socially, because we have to keep that revenue flowing, because if people stop going there, because nightlife habits change. And if someone likes to go to Brady Street, like to go to Water Street routinely, they go to dinner, they go watch sporting events there, and that's where they go. If they feel unsafe, they'll never come back. They'll find somewhere else. They'll go out to Brookfield. They'll go to Champ's Sports Bar in the Brookfield on the Moreland Road by the Brookfield Square. And we don't want people to change their habits because Milwaukee needs revenue. The estimated policing costs for Brady Street is between $2 and $3.1 million a year. Water Street is between $5 million and $7.1 million a year. And I have another breakdown. It has, in this article, how much we spend on police per visitor. Interesting. So for Brady Street, so per visitor, and we get between 2 million and 2.8 million people that go to Brady Street. We are paying between 90 cents and $1.30 per individual that visits Brady Street. So every person that you see throughout the course of a year in the Brady Street neighborhood is costing us between 90 cents and $1.30 per person. That is what we are spending on law enforcement. Water Street is even more expensive. That is $1 to $1.40 per individual visitor of Water Street, in which we have between 4.2 and 5.8 million visitors. Overall, Water Street is roughly twice the size of Brady Street in the annual visitation and economic activity, and it requires proportionately greater public safety resources due to higher visitor volumes, larger events, and its concentration of late-night entertainment. Both districts are major contributors to Milwaukee visitors' economy, but the available figures outside of published tourism totals are best understood as evidence-based estimates rather than official audited counts. All right, so here's what we're going to do now. So I was in Memphis over the weekend, one of my favorite American cities, because they do some things right. I like the hospitality of the Mid-South. It's got a different kind of feel to it. You notice the difference, especially being from the upper Midwest whenever you go down south. It's also a very beautiful city. It's a very clean city. We got garbage everywhere here. We have garbage just floating in the wind here in Milwaukee. So we got to do neighborhood cleanup. They don't got to do neighborhood cleanups down there in the Memphis, Tennessee. Now, they also have the National Guard deployed in one of their major entertainment districts. So it's called Beale Street. Beale Street is very similar to Water Street. And they've had their issues too. They've had a YN crisis on Beale Street, and they propose gating it off, and then you've got to be over 21. You've got to pay a $10 fee to hang out on Beale Street, and that $10, what does that do? That goes to offset the price that taxpayers are footing the bill for the additional police presence. But then something happened. So this might be an unintended consequence of us considering the National Guard, which I know is still on the table, especially for one gubernatorial candidate at least. Here's an unintended consequence. Black man shot and killed by National Guard members in Memphis. I'm going to pause there, take a break, come back and talk about this story on the other side. You're listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. I'll be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 101.7 The Truth app, and 101.7thetruth.com.
Looking for fun, adventure, and family-friendly activities this summer? Discover Milwaukee's Urban Ecology Center with locations in Riverside Park, Washington Park, and Menominee Valley. Explore hiking trails, family programs, outdoor adventures, community events, and opportunities to connect with nature right in your neighborhood. Whether you're looking for a weekend adventure or a summer-long experience, Urban Ecology Center has something for everyone. Learn more and register today at urbanecologycenter.org. Nature is closer than you think.
At Milwaukee College Prep, we believe brilliance lives in every child. Here, students are challenged, supported, and celebrated every single day. With small class sizes, dedicated teachers, and a proven track record of academic excellence, MCP is helping Milwaukee kids reach their fullest potential. Enrollment is still open for grades K-3 through 8. Spaces are limited. Apply today. Give your child a school where they'll thrive. Visit mkeprep.com or call today. Milwaukee College Prep, brilliance lives here.
I always had to be so good, no one could ignore me. Carve my path with data and drive. But some people only see who I am on paper. The paper ceiling, the limitations from degree screens to stereotypes that are holding back over 70 million stars. Workers skilled through alternative routes, rather than a bachelor's degree. It's time for skills to speak for themselves. Find resources for breaking through barriers at tearthepaperceiling.org. Brought to you by Opportunity at Work and the Ad Council.
I'm Chris Jakimick. I served in the United States Air Force and I deployed 3 times. So in 2017, I was serving as an Air Force First Sergeant. Our motto in that role is my job is people, everyone is my business. But unfortunately in that year, I would lose my own brother, Lance Corporal Adam Jakimick, to suicide. The majority of veteran suicides are from guns. I store my weapons securely, not only for myself, but for my family. Store all your guns securely. Help stop suicide. My service never stops.
Brought to you by End Family Fire and the Ad Council.
And here's Heather with the weather.
Well, it's beautiful out there, sunny and 75, almost a little chilly in the shade. Now, let's get a read on the inside of your car. It is hot. You've only been parked a short time and it's already 99 degrees in there. Let's not leave children in the back seat while running errands. It only takes a few minutes for their body temperatures to rise, and that could be fatal.
Cars get hot, fast, and can be deadly. Never leave a child in a car. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Babes, what are you doing?
What? I'm just mowing the lawn.
No, it's blazing hot and dry out here. Don't you remember? Smokey Bear says.
Avoid using power equipment when it's windy or dry.
Where'd you learn this?
Oh, it's on
SmokeyBear.com with many other wildfire prevention tips.
Right. Thanks, honey bear.
'Cause remember, only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 The Truth app, and 101.7thetruth.com.
We're going to dance. We're going to dance and have some fun.
Probably not the right music to play talking about a black man getting shot in Memphis by the National Guard. Black man shot and killed by National Guard members in Memphis. Tyron Johnson, age 20, was shot by the pair of National Guard members while they were in pursuit of him following a 911 call regarding shots fired in the area. According to Fox 13 Memphis, 20-year-old Tyron Johnson was shot by the pair of Guard members while they were in pursuit of him following a 911 call regarding shots fired in the area. According to the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation, which is investigating the shooting, Memphis police reported that officers responded to reports of shots fired in the area near Ida B. Wells Avenue just before 4 a.m. and encountered several people leaving the scene, one of whom was carrying a handgun. Memphis police officers and Tennessee National Guard military police pursued the man, later identified as Johnson, as he fled. So I'm going to just share something with you that you all have become accustomed to, whether it be on New Year's Eve at midnight or whether it be really the week before and sometimes even the week after the 4th of July. We have these dubious traditions in the city of Milwaukee where people shoot their guns in the air. And, we get used to it. It's very annoying. It's dangerous. Property is damaged because the bullets come down. They come down at terminal velocity. And if your vehicle is parked on the street, one of those bullets could pierce the roof of your vehicle. A lot of cars have glass roofs now. Your sunroof, your moonroof shattered, your windshield shattered. A bullet falling on the hood of your vehicle can do damage that is even worse than hail. I don't know why people don't understand basic physics, but you also have to keep this in mind. I personally don't like it. I think it's stupid. I think it's a waste of ammunition, but it also shows just how many guns we have in this city. You need to know something because some of you might shoot your guns in the air and you think it's fun and funny and you think it's cute because people call the police when they hear gunshots. And sometimes people call the police when they hear fireworks, because they're indistinguishable sometimes. Do you understand that if you are firing your pistol in the air because you're celebrating and a police officer pulls up, they're going to blow your brains out because you are firing a weapon? You understand that? I don't know if people get that. If you are brandishing a firearm and you are discharging it and a police officer sees that, they're going to draw their weapon on you. And as you lower that weapon, they are going to shoot you in the face. And then at the same time, oh my God, the cops kill him. He was firing a gun, recklessly endangering safety. So this tradition that we get used to is going to get somebody killed. I just want folks to be aware of this now. Witnesses described a chaotic scene unfolding in the pre-dawn hours. Quote, "We pulled up, walking to the end of the street. Then we heard gunshots. People take off running," said witness Stephen Gilliam. The Tennessee Bureau of Investigation said Johnson turned toward National Guard personnel while armed during the pursuit. 2 National Guard soldiers then opened fire, killing him. Authorities said no officers or guardsmen were injured. So every so often we will have a shots fired situation. In fact, people have been killed in the area of Water Street. Several people just so far this summer. We're not even at the halfway point of summer yet. In the event that the National Guard get deployed, not only will they ease the burden on the police and allow police to stay in the communities and in the districts in which they should be patrolling, because it doesn't make any sense to pull neighborhood cops downtown because the neighborhoods are more vulnerable and less safe, and that's where a lot of the crime actually is. But I don't want folks to think that if the Guard comes here that they would be here just for show. And I don't know if a lot of people would take them seriously. Maybe some people would. I've talked to business owners on Water Street, and they desperately want it. And this is why I'm bringing this topic up, because they have a tremendous amount of impact and influence. Maybe members of the public may not want to see the National Guard on Water Street, but businesses do. Businesses have been robbed. I don't know if you guys know that, but then when there's cash drops at the end of the night, when bartenders and managers are taking the cash out of the registers and they have to walk it to their vehicle, people are getting robbed. And here's why I think the businesses and the lobby, we have a real strong business and entertainment district lobby in the city of Milwaukee, meaning they have a lot of impact and a lot of influence on our elected officials because they can actually write checks to our members of the Common Council that those members of the Common Council will then use to get reelected with. Because we don't really write checks to our alderpersons. I'd be willing to bet dollars to donuts that none of you listening right now has ever given a campaign contribution to a member of the Common Council. I'm pretty certain that that's probably true. And because we know the economic impact of the spending that takes place in our 2 large entertainment districts, if those businesses feel like their course of business is being interrupted by crime, and if they suggest the National Guard, there will be due consideration. And I have heard from at least 2 business owners in the Water Street area that would welcome the National Guard to patrol the area. But they wouldn't be there just for show. So if someone goes down to Water Street and they want to act a fool and just fire their pistol into the air, they will get sniped. And that just needs to be put out there because this situation that took place in Memphis These are trained military personnel. They are members of the armed services here in the United States. They are trained to kill. Now, the other thing about the National Guard is the National Guard are not, these career military people per se, not like the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, and the Marines. So the secretary at your office, she might be in the National Guard. The person that does who's a crossing guard for your son's school, they might be in the National Guard. So it's just regular, average, everyday citizens that, when called upon for duty, will turn their firearms on other American citizens if they feel that there is a significant enough threat. As investigators continued processing the scene, Johnson's family arrived downtown. That is the deceased that was killed by the National Guardsman. Quote, "We come from a big family, so family is a big deal," Stephen Gilliam said. "Just watching the mama get the news, that's definitely because I wouldn't want my mama to get the news like that." Another witness to Sean Gilliam said the incident was difficult to comprehend. "It's really very, very surreal to me," he said. Then there's the question about why the National Guard members were there in the first place. According to CNN, they were assigned to a crime-fighting patrol in Memphis as part of a task force in the city created by Donald Trump, who last year was blocked from deploying National Guard troops to the city by a federal judge, just as he was blocked from deploying troops into several other Democrat-led cities, most of which have large black populations. But Tennessee's Republican governor, hint, hint, and we have a Republican that is also running for governor here in Wisconsin, Bill Lee, who is the Republican governor of Tennessee, had his state's National Guard deployed anyway to support the president's efforts. It should be noted that Tom Tiffany, the likely Republican nominee for governor in Wisconsin, is endorsed and supported by Donald Trump. So when I say we are just one summer and one election away from having the National Guard deployed to our large entertainment districts, this is something that could actually come to fruition. Johnson's grandfather, Evanuel Johnson, told CNN his grandson had taken classes at Tennessee State University, was the father of a young child, and was planning to help lead the family construction business, and was passionate about making music. This 20-year-old African-American man, Tyron Johnson, was killed by the National Guard deployed to an entertainment district in Memphis, Tennessee. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be back for hour 2.
Don't touch that dial. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
The performing arts do more than entertain. They bring the community together. From live performances and arts education to free community events, UPath helps support the organizations that keep southeastern Wisconsin vibrant. But it only happens because of people like you. Every gift helps keep the arts accessible and inspiring for the entire community. Join thousands of supporters and give today at upaf.org. UPath. One gift, regional impact.
I'm Sherwin Hughes, and I know the power of Stars and Stripes Honor Flight firsthand. As someone who's been on an honor flight, I can tell you it's a day you'll never forget. Stars and Stripes Honor Flight gives our oldest veterans who served in any location in June of 1975 or earlier a free one-day trip to Washington, D.C. for veterans. Airfare, meals, a coach bus tour, and special flight apparel are all included. It's a day of honor, gratitude, and camaraderie. Veterans who served in the Vietnam or Korean War go to flySSHF.org and ask for an application.
When a warrior faces adversity, he fights through it. He finds a way. Freedom isn't free. Rolling strong. Belief. Believe you can, and you will.
Wheelchairs for Warriors provides mobility solutions to veterans and first responders injured in the line of duty. Join the mission and visit wheelchairsforwarriors.org.
Here's the deal. We gotta set ourselves up. See, retirement is the long game. We gotta make moves and make them early. Set up goals. Don't worry about a setback. Just save up and stack up to reach them. Let's put ourselves in the right position. Pre-game to greater things.
Start building your retirement plan at thisispretirement.org. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
For 75 years, the Muscular Dystrophy Association's voices have thundered through the halls of Congress.
For 75 years, we've willed the impossible into existence.
For 75 years, the MDA community has pushed the science,
shifted the narrative, and established the field of neuromuscular medicine.
And until that day when this is all a thing of the past,
you couldn't stop us if you tried.
Join us and celebrate 75 years of breakthroughs at MDA75.org.
You're listening to Milwaukee Black Talk on 101.7 FM.
The Truth.
And 1510 AM. W269DL. Milwaukee. A Milwaukee Black media company.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 101.7thetruth.com.
Welcome to Hour 2 of The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. Subscribe to 101.7 The Truth via YouTube by searching 101.7 The Truth on YouTube. It's worth it because it's free and you get to watch all the shows, get some free advice. Should I start giving stock tips? Y'all want? No. Xavier says, no, don't give stock tips. Why not? We're underinvested as black people. Like, how do black people retire? I'm serious about that. How do you have enough money to stop working? What do you put money in a sock? In a piggy bank? Or what do you? Xavier, do you have a retirement account?
Yes.
Okay.
From all the jobs that I've been working.
So when I leave a job, I don't let them keep my money. In fact, I just got my contributions that I made to the Good Karma Brands 401k, because you obviously can leave it there in their retirement account, and then when I turn, I don't know, 59 and a half or something, whatever the age is that I can take distributions from that particular retirement account, they would send it to me. But I would have forgotten all about Good Karma Brand. Give me my money. So there's two amounts of money. I'm actually a little angry about this. So to be vested in Good Karma Brand's retirement system, you have to have worked for 6 years. So vested means all the money that I contributed plus all of the money that they contributed on my behalf, that's my money. I could withdraw it. I can borrow against it, take some money out for hardships. But because our employment with Good Karma Brands stopped after 5.5 years, the dollar amount that Good Karma Brands contributed on my behalf got forfeited. So they got their money that they contributed to my retirement back, and I was only able to get what I contributed. Let me be clear now. In 5.5 years, your boy put away a little piece of change. You know what I mean? I made sure, because I do it pre-tax so that your tax burden is less. So I put away that. And my check came. Here's what's crazy. So I was out of town from Thursday, and I came back early Monday morning. My check from the Good Karma Brands, and I'm not going to tell you how much it was, but them bands will make you dance. I'd have a good time out on the border with that little piece of change, okay? That check sat in my mailbox because it came on Thursday, and it sat in there until Monday. And I was nervous because I knew the check was coming. I was like, oh, nobody. They're feeling froggy and they want to leap and they get my money. But first thing I did when I got home, I went to the mailbox and I got my check. So, yeah, I was a little upset that our employment with Good Karma Brands stopped. Because what they could have done, I think they could have done this if they were nice. Because the only people that really were affected well, I guess everybody would have been affected. But they could have kept our employment technically, because Zach and I are still here. They could have kept us on as quote unquote Good Karma Brands employees until we hit our 6 years, which would have been, we're probably still going to be in this building when we hit our vesting date, but they stopped short. So that was a little disappointing. But I'm genuinely curious on how you all plan to save for retirement, or do you just want to work forever? So there was a period of time where black men were really into crypto, and they're nauseating. Like, oh, Sherwin. You know who a big one was Benjamin. Sherwin, you got to get on this crypto. You got to buy the crypto. I'm like, you're insane. It's not even real. I can't go and withdraw some damn cryptocurrency. It's all based on speculation. It's not tangible. If large institutions are not heavily invested in cryptocurrency and they know more than I do, then I'm not going to touch it. And so I heard, like, I don't know who the guy was, but he used to text us all the time. Sure, we need to buy some Bitcoin. You got to tell people that Bitcoin is the way to financial freedom. I just ignored this dude. You got to buy Bitcoin. So I did a little research on it. I'm like, is this really the next thing? Because I want to know where we put our money, how we save our money, how we invest our money, like what black people do with our money. Because I keep hearing about these economic disparities, and I get it. I know where they came from. I know that we make less money. We spend more time being unemployed, a whole bunch of things that contribute to the disparity. We're not homeowners. We don't have, assets and equity built up in our houses. But I'm just curious, like, what the hell are we doing? Now that we know all this stuff, some of this is like individuals are just making bad decisions about their money. And yeah, you can blame history and, your parents didn't own a house and they didn't pass the house on to you. I get it. But like now, what are we doing like as individuals to try and rectify that? And so I'm like, okay, maybe African Americans are entering the conversation about investing money in cryptocurrency. And then there was because cryptocurrency, while it's digital, they keep really good records of who buys it and sells it because they know your IP address. If I know your IP address, or if they know your IP address, they know everything about you demographically, what devices you're using, what time of day you're trading, all that good stuff. So the demographic information about who owns cryptocurrency is shockingly accurate and pretty readily available if you know where to look. So I was looking at how much cryptocurrency different races own and how so Bitcoin, Ethereum is one of them. There's so many of them. It's all just made up garbage. Shiba Inu, it's all stupid. I don't like it because it's not real money. I like real money. You know what I like? I like having a whole bunch of $100 bills spread out on a bed and I'll roll around in it naked. But money is dirty. I know. I love that dirt. I love dirty money. Clean money too. But I like tangible, actual money. I like liquidity. You guys know what liquidity is? It means you can go get your money at a moment's notice. I don't like, well, you have to do this and wait 72 hours. You got to sell this. And no. Give me my money. I might need to flee to Mexico. I need my money. So when I looked at the average dollar amount of cryptocurrency owned by an African American, guess how much it was? Oh, you're going to love this. As much as we were talking about it, because there's one guy who was a big proponent. I can't remember what his name is. He used to call all the time and he used to text all the time. Sure, when you need to talk about Bitcoin and this is our way to financial freedom. I think he also was a Trumper because the Trump administration gave a lot more latitude to cryptocurrency miners or distributors or whatever. It's anything that Trump is behind is going to be a scam. The average dollar amount of cryptocurrency held by an African American is a whopping $191. And when I found that out, I stopped listening to and responding to that guy who was a big proponent of cryptocurrency. $191 is a nice dinner, sir. But I do have curiosities about how we save and more importantly, how we spend our money, because financial literacy is how you spend it. So for our first year as 1017 The Truth, we had a partnership with Northwestern Mutual, which is a 170-year-old financial services company, everything from whole life, term life, universal life insurance to a whole bunch of different investment instruments and mutual funds and annuities. Essentially anything you would need for your retirement and just to protect your financial future, Northwestern Mutual would provide those services. So we would do, myself and Dr. Ken did semi-monthly conversations on air about all the different ways you can save and invest. And I don't think our community learns a damn thing from it. So if you won the lottery, I actually want to see, this is not even the topic that I plan to talk about, but now I'm curious. If you won the lottery, let's say you won a nice piece, not the $1 billion, because that's unrealistic. Let's say you hit Powerball and you hit them for a good $50 million, $22 million after taxes, free and clear. You paid the state taxes, you paid your federal taxes. You got $22 million. Where are you putting it? They're going to write you a check for $22 million. Your bank is not going to take a check for $22 million. You're only going to be FDIC insured up to $250,000. Let me tell you why you can't take a $22 million check to your bank. Because what if you want to withdraw it? The bank doesn't have $22 million to give you. You know, banks are only required to have like 10% of the deposits. So if you deposit $1,000 in your bank, the bank is only required to have $100 of your money actually in a cash reserve because the bank is lending out the other 90% of your money. So a bank is not taking your $22 million check. You think you can go down, where y'all bank at, PNC? Where you bank at, First Citizens? Is Tri-City Bank still a bank? Where you bank at, Wells Fargo? Where you bank at, Xavier? I want to know where you bank at. You probably got a big fancy bank. Xavier said he only goes to the check cashing place once a month.
I didn't say that.
What bank you banking? I'm curious. What bank? Tri-City?
First Citizens.
Oh, yeah, I'm a First Citizens person, too. It used to be Guarantee Bank.
Yep.
Yeah, and the account number stayed the same. I got the same account number since I was 18 years old. Ain't that crazy?
Yeah, I've had my account for a very long time as well.
Right.
And Chase Bank.
Chase has my mortgage. That's who I pay for to live in my house. But if you won $22 million tomorrow, what would you do? Stop talking about buying stuff. You shouldn't buy anything. You don't even know what you're doing with the money. I want to hear and read a couple of comments in the YouTube chat. Reginald said, what's retirement? Death? Why would you want to work forever? RC Creation says both Powerball and Mega Millions are over $450 million. Bob R says you have Chime, Xavier. That's what is Chime? One of them.
I don't know. What's that?
I don't know what that is.
Why do you
I've
say
heard
that?
of it before. Maybe it's one of those like digital banks or something, or a poor people bank. I don't know. Where do poor people bank? Well, they don't.
I don't think they got to go to the check cashing.
E. Gibson says treasury bonds for me when I hit. So U.S. treasuries they're typically a safe investment. You're not going to get a big return, but you're rarely going to lose money. So that's buying U.S. debt. And then you have to count on Congress to continue to raise the debt ceiling to be able to borrow more money to service the debt. So investing in U.S. treasuries is typically a smart investment. LaRon says, I'm putting that money in a trust and have a board of advisors handle my money. Okay. So non-revocable trusts are a thing, but that's if you have like a lot of assets and a lot of kids and really complicated tangled business endeavors and corporations and LLCs. That's an option for some. What would I do with $22 million? A lot. I probably would look at wealth preserving, dividend paying, low risk, low reward mutual funds, because this is the key. I got $22 million free and clear after taxes. I'm gonna have $2 million liquid because I'm gonna play. Okay, I'm gonna play. I don't know if I buy another house. I might even stay exactly where I'm at, but I'm gonna do some things with that money. I'm gonna travel. I'm gonna help out some friends. I'm gonna help out some family. So now I got $20 million free and clear. Remember, money and wealth is not how much you make. It's how much money you have that you never need to touch. So I got $20 million just sitting there looking me in the face. And I'm going to find a low risk, means the risk of me losing any money with swings in the stock market is very, very low. But the return is also going to be very, very low. Because let me tell you this much. If I'm getting on my $20 million now, if I'm getting, say, a 5% annual return on my $20 million. 5%, which is reasonable because there are investment instruments that might do even higher than 5%. But if I can average 5%, I'm making $1 million every single year, and my $20 million is not only untouched, it is growing and accruing interest, and I'm living off of $1 million a year. And I'll tell you what, for the overwhelming majority of my life, meaning all of it, I have lived off of less than $1 million a year. I have. So now, if you give Sherwin, that would be something around $85,000 a month. I can live off of that. Now, what I don't need is a house that's got a $20,000 mortgage and a boat that's going to cost, $1.6 million. No. That's stupid. Because that's how you end up like MC Hammer and everybody else that went broke. How embarrassing. Have these mega stars, and they're always black, filing bankruptcy after they made all this damn money. MC Hammer had like $300-something million and ended up going broke. That's an actual common theme because we don't know anything about money. If you happen to hit a lick or you have a sudden windfall of money, we don't even know what to do with it. I'm trying to preserve that money. Because you can go out and spend $20 million in a day. And then what? You got a whole bunch of stuff that you can't take care of, you can't maintain it, and now you're broke again. Imagine winning $20 million free and clear, and now you got to go back to work. But Sherwin, I thought that you just hit the lottery. Why are you here at the Metro Market bagging groceries? Oh, I got a Bugatti outside, though. Sherwin, you bought a Bugatti, but you're here at the Metro Market working second shift? Yeah. RC Creation says, still waiting for my reparations. Never happening. Never going to happen. And when I say never, never. I know that you're probably being facetious, but what this administration has done has put the African-American struggle for financial equality so far out of the rearview mirror that no future executive ever has to bring the subject up ever again. And before we have conversations about reparations, if you think that is something that we are owed and if you're serious about it, we probably should get some semblance of affirmative action in DEI and the EEOC, like the arm of the federal government that investigates racial discrimination claims at work has essentially been gutted. And you think that they're going to pay black people? The whole point is to never pay us. And guess what? They've gotten away with it with very little pushback from us. And it goes back to the fact that the African-American community does not produce something that America needs and counts on for its survival. We do not produce anything that cannot be produced by somebody else. We do not produce anything that we can't get from a foreign government or foreign labor for even cheaper. That is our problem. That is why we are just out here dangling in the wind. The whole reality of an African-American, I really hate to say this, but it's an objective fact. Our reality was created by the pens and paper of white men, by executive orders and by bills being signed into law. Now, executive orders and bills being signed into law have a tremendous amount of power, but just know that every executive order, just like every piece of legislation, can be reversed, and we are witnessing it right now. I don't know if we fully appreciate our history being evaporated and our progress being retracted, because black people are still moving forward like, yes, we're going forward and we're making more progress and we're keeping our eyes on the prize. They've spent our prize money. The prize that we have our eyes on, with the Voting Rights Act being gutted and now our electoral representation in Congress is being evaporated, they're going to be creating more congressional seats. So in a place like Texas, they're going to have a bigger impact on the Electoral College than they do right now, all but guaranteeing future Republican presidents in a nation that will be overwhelmingly Democratic and people of color in the majority. So to think that anybody is prioritizing black people is to live in a fantasy world. Now, this happens to be the political moment and the climate that we are in right now, but here's what I fear. Donald Trump has done such an experiment with this democracy, even future Democrats, leftists, liberals, moderates, whatever, they now know what they can get away with. And they also know that if you harm or threaten certain communities that are vulnerable, there's no repercussion. So if there continues to be political and economic harm to the black community, if that continues, what happens? How does America actually suffer when it's not even the full 14% of the African American population? It's more like, so we're 14% of the overall population, but maybe like 4 or 5% of black people are really, really struggling. If you ignore a single-digit percentage of one racial category of people, what really happens? Not much. And that is the incredible disadvantage that we are at. Now, in local areas, in cities, in towns, and in counties, we can have dramatically more political influence and political sway, which is good. However, those cities, those towns, those counties, and even those states are heavily reliant on the temperature of the federal government. If the federal government says, we're not giving you any money for a minority construction loan, we're not giving you any money for subsidized housing for this poor African-American neighborhood in the city of Milwaukee, then that money is gone. And so the problem is we blame our black leadership because we elect them, because we do have the impact in the city of Milwaukee to have a majority black common council. And when the majority black common council, I'll even throw in the sheriff, the police chief, county executive, the mayor, the chairwoman of the county board. We got black leadership everywhere, black leadership on the school board. When they are not delivering for us, we blame them and say that they're being ineffective. We're not looking at the fact that the money and the funding that they need to make our lives better has dried up completely, but that's the trick with politics. We blame the people in our proximity. We don't go upstream to see where the blame actually comes from. But here's why it works beautifully for them and not for us. Because the more we lose faith in the system, number one, the more we're okay with it being destroyed. And number two, we're not going to vote. It's very logical. If you don't see tangible progress year after year, decade after decade by voting for African-American elected officials, eventually you're going to stop voting altogether. And that is perfect because a vote you don't cast is a vote that strengthens your opposition. And right now our opposition is as strong as it's been since the pre-civil rights movement. So if I want $20 million, probably take me a little vacation. I don't know. I'm not buying another car. I might fix up my basement, have some Mexicans drywall my basement, maybe put a little recreation room down in my basement. But other than that, I bet you I still come to work. I would, because I really enjoy what I do, because who doesn't enjoy talking to people via 1017 The Truth? And don't go anywhere, because The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth will be right back.
Don't touch that dial. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Our children deserve a real chance to make it in life, and a good education is a passport to opportunity. At City Ford Collective, we're working to make sure there's a great Milwaukee school for every Milwaukee family, because more good options lead to better outcomes. And who doesn't want that? Together, we can give every child the foundation they need to thrive, and a stronger future for kids means a stronger future for Milwaukee. To learn more about our mission, visit us at cityfordcollective.org. That's cityfordcollective.org.
Are you looking for a place to shop that offers a fair market price? Or how about a place that is clean with a friendly atmosphere, has been recently remodeled? You need to visit Century Food Store on 92nd and Lisbon Avenue. They offer a wide variety of grocery items, meats, and fresh vegetables at a fair market price. And don't forget the hot food section, which offers soul food, Indian, and Mexican foods. This week, buy boneless New York strip steak for $14.99 a pound, sweet corn 5 for $2.50, essential everyday dressing for $1.79, essential everyday chunk or shredded cheese 2 for $4. So what you waiting for? You can also order groceries through DoorDash, Uber Eats, and Instacart, or stop by Century Foods at 92nd and Lisbon Avenue today.
You can't buy a best friend. You can love them, walk them, pet them, and care for them, whether they want you to or not. You can take a picture or 50. You can fly to the moon, travel the world, or just stay in bed. You can't buy a best friend like that, but you can adopt one. There are millions of pets waiting for a best friend just like you. Help us save them all at bestfriends.org.
Talking about guns with others might not always feel comfortable, but it could save a life. Here's a way to start a conversation. Your family is going over to your neighbor's home for dinner for the first time. How would you ask if there are any unlocked guns in the home?
Hey! Hey, we're so excited for tonight. Before we come over, though, may I ask if there are any unlocked guns in your home?
Our guns are stored securely, locked in a safe that the kids can't access.
Awesome.
Learn how to have the conversation at agreetoagree.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Wherever there's a need in our communities, there's a United Way. Improving lives so everyone can thrive. Where more people can gain access to health care and nutritious food for their tables. Where more community members can benefit from financial education and get connected to local resources for housing support. And where children are given more chances to reach their full potential. Community is where we find our strength and where we share our hope. United is the way. Visit unitedway.org.
This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
I like this comment that you made, not really a city girl. She says it's insane that you'll basically take on another full-time job, watching your money, moving your money, and paying others to manage your money. It's a weird and twisted system. If there's a full-time job that I want, it's watching my money, because I would do it naked. Like, I think I'll wake up at noon today and just look at my money and just stare at it on my screen. It's not all that difficult. So you got to be careful if you have other people watching your money. Ask Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson got played. He got ripped. Somebody was managed? Was it Don King? When Mike had made something like $200 or $300 million and ended up being broke because he couldn't trust the people that was around him. So there's these other unintended consequences when you get a bunch of money. So in Wisconsin, if you win the lottery, it's public. We announce our winners publicly. You're screwed when that happens. Because everybody you ever met, anyone you've ever known, people that you don't know, people that you may have spoken to once, everybody's going to have a hard luck story for you. And some of the stories are legitimate. Like, I'm sick, I have cancer, I can't afford my health care, I'm going to die if I don't get my treatment. We're being evicted, I got 3 kids, I'm in a domestic violence situation, can you please help me? All of that is going to come your way. That's the first thing that's going to happen. So people are going to pull at your heartstrings, and some of you may be tempted to help those people out. The next thing is everyone is going to sue you. A lot of folks don't know this. You are not safe from anybody. People are going to try and provoke you. They're going to start fights with you to get you to hit them, you're going to be in traffic and somebody's going to swoop and squat. They're going to go in front of your vehicle, hit the brakes and hope that you were in them. You got to have your head on a swivel. And most people are not used to that kind of scrutiny once the public knows that you have won this money, because by law you have to disclose, but there's a bit of a loophole. You can start a particular kind of trust, so here's when you got to sign the ticket, right? Don't sign your name on the ticket. You set up this trust. Trust is set up. You work with a lawyer to do this, okay? You don't sign your name on the ticket because now that becomes public. You write the name of the trust. The trust now is the holding company of your money, and your lawyer, your attorney, your financial advisor, they then accept your lottery winnings on behalf of the trust. And you can make up any kind of name for the trust. I have a feeling that my trust would be called Booger Wolf Incorporated, but then if I call it that, you're going to know that it's me. And so that is who would be accepting the lottery winnings. And then there will be a mechanism in which I then can have access to my money, but you never want to accept your lottery winnings publicly because you are screwed. Oh, and the other thing that's going to happen is everybody's going to approach you with a business idea. I got an idea to start up a pet grooming center and an aquatic center and a yoga studio and a coffee shop and a hair salon and a business offers left and right. You're going to be solicited all the time. And fellas, that's who I really worry about. Oh, that woman that never gave you the time of day? Oh, no, she's going to give you the time of day, all right. She's going to just hand over her panties And most people are not used to that kind of, and the attention might feel good. It might be overwhelming at first, but it'll drive you absolutely insane. Let's talk to someone who knows all about being rich. Al from Sherman Park. How much money do you have, Al from Sherman Park?
I'm just waiting on it to come to me.
All right.
I won't say anything until I retire, I think.
All right, brokey.
I just started receiving my pension from that big insurance company downtown last year, so I was surprised at that. I only worked there 8 years, but it was a nice little chunk of money at age 60. So
congratulations.
Anyway, I had a question about Evers helping out the city of Milwaukee budget. What happened to that extra $400 additional per year per student, and why isn't that offsetting Milwaukee public school cost?
Because it's only $400. I think that we spent about 16 or 17.
You remember Evers?
Correct.
Doing that in his budget?
I think we spend between $15,000 and $17,000 per student on public education. The sufficient amount in 2026 is probably close to $30,000 per student. So we are still on. So the school districts that have the highest performing students across the board are spending better than $20,000 or $25,000 per student. We are spending under that. So even that $400 allocation per student does literally nothing. That's eaten up by inflation. That's eaten up by the cost of school supplies. That's eaten up by the maintenance of the building. That's eaten up by having to hire a super part-time reading specialist in 2 or 3 schools, so it doesn't make any kind of a dent. It was more of a symbolic thing that Tony Evers did, so there's always going to be a natural increase in what we spend on education, because we got to spend more on education because it gets more expensive every year, but it's not offsetting anything because it's only $400.
Yeah, well, I do think maybe we could have the National Guard help out with the policing, but I would change their uniforms and I would change their vehicles when they're doing policing amongst the public, instead of having, big old tanks coming in and wearing the green Army gear. Maybe put them in some blues.
That's the
put them
gayest
in
thing
Jeeps.
I've ever heard. You want to put them in glitter and hot pants? They're military. They gotta look military. They're not gonna wear wigs and sashay around in platform heels.
There could be a friendlier outfit that doesn't make you feel so insecure.
No, they're supposed to look intimidating. I want them wearing camouflage. I want the big tanks and the Humvee. No, make them change their outfits like it's a dress rehearsal. They mean business, Al.
How about those little cute little bicycle uniforms with the shorts,
I know you would like
they
that.
Put them in khakis. We could put them in khakis and penny loafers. How's that? And they could wear little rugby polo shirts.
Tell you what's going to happen is this. Here's what I'm going to suggest. I suggest that we're going to hold a National Guard fashion show, and I want you to be the executive director of the Runway Fashion Show, exhibiting National Guard fashions for the summer of 2027. Sound good?
I am a bad gay. I have a poor sense of fashion.
Oh, no.
Yeah, you don't want to be judging. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, we appreciate your suggestion, though.
All right. Have a good day, Sherwin.
All right. You too. Bye-bye. Oh, yeah. That was the gayest thing I've ever heard. Can they change their outfits? I don't like the way this wool feels on my skin. Good Lord. We need to clip that. Can we change their outfits? Why do the Marines have to wear green? Why not a fuchsia or maybe a hot pink? What's wrong with baby blue, like little baby blue helmets and Michael Jackson sequins gloves? Hee hee. Take a break, come back. We'll talk to Millicent on the other side. I also have other things I'd like to share with you today. We're just kind of dilly-dallying around. Milwaukee is reporting a 30% drop in homicides in the first half of 2026 compared to the same period last year, but not every neighborhood is seeing the same progress. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
The African American Roundtable, Black-led organization on Milwaukee's far northwest side, has launched a safety campaign rooted in the basic need of food access. It's called Feed the Change MKE. Through community engagement, AART learned that easy access to and education about locally sourced and fresh food would help people feel healthier and safer. Also, local food providers need to learn how to engage the community, build awareness, and stay in our community long term. So Feed the Change MKE encourages people to know, grow, prepare, and share food, especially from community-owned and operated stores, gardens, markets, and other culturally relevant sources. We can't rely on big corporations to meet these needs. That's why we must demand the city to invest $1 million into the Healthy Food Establishment Fund, formerly called the Fresh Food Access Fund. Join AART's campaign to win a dignified and choiceful system that we all can thrive in. Visit AARTMKE.org to learn more about Feed the Change MKE.
Are people around me safe when I vape? Science does not support that belief. Exhaled vape emissions linger in the air, affecting indoor air quality and bystanders in the same space through secondhand exposure. Vaping emissions can also accumulate on clothes, hair, dust, and furniture, leading to exposure risks to bystanders of all ages. And vaping around a pregnant person can lead to serious health impacts on fetal and childhood development. Enough with the puff. Learn more at ul.org/vaping.
My mom has decided to learn to paint, and she's good.
My dad's now into creative cuisine, and I've already put on 6 pounds.
Learning new things comes with age.
My mom, she started forgetting my name and what we're talking about.
Forgetting well-known things doesn't. Memory loss may be a sign of Alzheimer's disease. Early detection gives you and your loved one time to plan for the future. Learn the warning signs of Alzheimer's at 10signs.org. Brought to you by the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
The possibility of lung cancer can be pretty scary, especially if you're one of approximately 8 million current or former smokers at high risk. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know that now there's a breakthrough low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early, and it only takes 60 seconds. You stop smoking, now start screening. For an easy quiz to see if you're eligible, visit SaveByTheScan.org. It could save your life. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
These two young men to sit and reflect on the fate of the world. For life as we know it, my brother, must go on. And so the hustlers continue to hustle, and the players continue to play.
Hey, what's up, y'all?
Millicent, you're on 1017 The Truth. How are you?
I am well. How are you?
I'm doing excellent. What's going on? What's on your mind?
Oh, question. I came in late. Why would we have the National Guard come in to help the police?
Because they need support, because we're taking too many police resources from the neighborhoods, and the costs are overwhelming. It's costing a lot of money in police overtime and special deployments, and the city has a very limited budget. And if we are spending more money than we have on policing these entertainment districts, which we do have to keep safe because they generate revenue, the National Guard could ease the burden and reduce the overtime that we're paying. Because remember, when we pay a cop overtime, we're adding to their pension that we are on the hook for forever. So if there's a temporary reprieve in how much we're paying these cops, that money could be used for other things.
Okay, so when the National Guard would come in, let's say they come in, who pays for that?
The state of Wisconsin, which has an $80 billion budget, compared to the city of Milwaukee that only has a $2 billion budget.
Well, I propose that we just let the National Guard come in and police the city and fire the police department that we have, and we can have all that money. How about that? Because that Ayala guy, he's always saying they can't do it. If you can't do your job, let's bring somebody in that can, and we get us some new people.
So we can't replace local police.
Are doing such a great.
Correct, but we can't replace the local police with the National Guard because the National Guard doesn't have arrest powers. They can assist because they don't have a jail. So the National Guard, we don't want them to actually be the police. The police still have a function, like by the state law they have to exist, but they can help out temporarily. Just like if we have like a natural disaster, the National Guard would come in and help distribute water and food, etc. But if Milwaukee doesn't have any natural disasters, we have an allocation of National Guard services that we could use, and I would say we could use them on the entertainment district, especially in the summertime, so we can spend less money on policing. But you can't replace the cops. That's not going to happen.
Or how about if the police can't do their jobs, we need to rewrite their job descriptions. We need to make it where they are doing their job. If you can't do it, then we need to have you replaced with someone else, because everybody else has to do their job, whether they're short-staffed or anything else. Now you're saying to the people of Milwaukee, oh, we're the police, but this a rough job. We can't do this job. You just got too big of a raise not to be able to do your job. That's just how I'm thinking about it. That if they can't do their job, we need to get somebody in here who can, and it might be even a private police agency, something that our police officers are saying they can't do it. Then we need to get them some help. That's like with ICE. Why are y'all not? Okay, you scared to give the ICE people a ticket, but you could mail a ticket to the federal government for it to be paid for them violating everything, but you're even scared to do that. They're using your parking lot where your officers work, and y'all scared to say something to them. That's kind of foul, but then you see a black boy with a cell phone, you scared to death, you got to shoot and kill him. I'm not understanding. I'm confused.
What?
And I know
I got a question for you. So what, you say the police are not doing their job. What job are they not doing?
That Aola guy, the guy that's over their union, the president of their union.
Yes.
Aola, yes. He said, we are unable to continue to do the work like this. We need help. Those were his words. So if that's the case, you're admitting y'all can't do the job.
So have you ever worked at a company that maybe had a staffing shortage where they need somebody in HR?
Yes. In the hospital, yes.
Okay, and so you would have to do the job of 4 and 5 people. So because we have so few police officers for the need in this city, we can't say that the cops that we have aren't doing their job. There's simply not enough of them. So if you are managing 5 departments because your hospital is short-staffed, we can't say, Millicent, you're not doing your job. Well, you are doing your job. You're doing the job of 5 people. So firing you and getting somebody else in to do the jobs of 5 people is not going to do any good.
No, but if my boss goes to the hospital management and says, this lab cannot run, we can no longer run this laboratory, that means we got a problem with the personnel. Even when you're short, you should be able to continue to keep the flow going. We didn't say they weren't doing their job. He said it. That's what the police said. I didn't say that. He said they can't do it. That's him saying that. That's not me saying it.
All right.
So if he's saying it, we should listen to him.
I think he's saying that they're short-staffed. So appreciate your call, Millicent. We weren't getting anywhere with that. So let me give you guys just a little perspective here so we don't – this is not me defending the police. I just need to use, like, concrete information and real evidence here. The city of Milwaukee is 96.1 square miles. And I think we have somewhere in the area of 1,500 officers that are or could be available to patrol, to service, to answer calls in 96.1 square. So basically 100 square miles, right? That's the city of Milwaukee. We have 15 officers. Listen to me now. Per square mile. That is what the math breaks down to. It might actually be a little bit less than that, but I'm going to use even and round numbers for the sake of clarity. We have 15 cops per square mile of city. Do you know how many residents we have in a square mile? 6,000. I want y'all to conceptualize that math now. Now, here's the good news for us. Most of the 6,000 residents on average that live in a square mile, any square mile of the city of Milwaukee, are decent people. They're not causing any harm. They're not causing any trouble. But if you just take 10% of those people, which is 600, that are breaking into cars, breaking into houses, that are strong arm robbing people and breaking into stores and burglarizing homes and shooting guns and non-fatal shootings and committing homicides. So just 10% of the people, okay, that overwhelms the 15 officers we have per square mile. So here's what we do, okay? You have a lot of issues and a lot of trouble in one particular square mile of the city. So you'll pull officers from another part of the city. Now remember, on average, we only have 15 cops per square mile. We have 6,000 residents per square mile. So if we pull some of the 15 officers from District 2 and some of the 15 officers from District 1 and some of the 15 officers from District 4, then all of those independent individual districts have less than 15 police per square mile. And they still got 6,000 residents in that same square mile. Do you see how that's inefficient? At some point, the community has to pull its own weight to help improve public safety because there's not going to be enough cops. And even if you tripled that number to 45 cops per square mile, that is a tripling of the police department, okay? Now you have 45 cops for 6,000 residents. If the same 600 individuals out of that 6,000 in any square mile are causing chaos, even if we tripled our police force, they are still they're overwhelmed by a factor of 12. So that's what I'm trying to get at here. It's impossible to do the job accurately because in some areas, like a Brady Street or a Water Street, they've got to pull all of the officers from certain square miles of the city to where there are now zero. Meaning, if there's a domestic violence call, nobody can answer it. No one, because you have 6,000 residents per square mile, an average of 15 cops per square mile, but you need all 15 of those cops to be on Brady Street to stop the twerk fest. That's why it's a problem. So if you look at it in the perspective of just simple math, it is an impossible job. And at the same time, yes, we need more officers. Nobody wants to be a cop. So even if we had the money and the desire and the political will to triple our police force, where are you going to get the cops from? Nobody wants to police this city. I know I don't. I'd be a terrible cop. I'd search everybody. Officer Hughes, that's a woman. You can't search her. Well, I don't have time to wait for backup. I think she's hiding something under her shirt. No, she is. She's hiding. And next thing you know, I was right. She was hiding something. She stole 2 cantaloupes from Pick and Save. Man, place your hands behind your back. You just stole 2 cantaloupes. Officer, how did you know I was hiding cantaloupes under my shirt? Ma'am, it was obvious. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. Officer Hughes. We'll be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
At Milwaukee College Prep, we believe brilliance lives in every child. Here, students are challenged, supported, and celebrated every single day. With small class sizes, dedicated teachers, and a proven track record of academic excellence, MCP is helping Milwaukee kids reach their fullest potential. Enrollment is still open for grades K-3 through 8. Apply today. Give your child a school where they'll thrive. Visit mkeprep.com or call today. Milwaukee College Prep, brilliance lives here.
Reading aloud to children sharpens their listening skills, expands their vocabularies, and nurtures a lifelong love of reading. That's why Reading is Fundamental, the nation's leading children's literacy nonprofit, offers free monthly read-alouds by popular authors through its Rally to Read program. Visit rallytoread.org to watch the read-alouds and discover exciting reading activities for school and home. Visit rallytoread.org today.
We asked parents who adopted teens to share their journey.
When I met both of them, it was like my missing pieces were found. Like it was just like an instant, these are my kids. If you're considering adopting a teen, just do it. Kids need families. I don't care the age, everybody deserves a family.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. Visit adoptuskids.org to learn more. A message brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
Not completing high school is more of a social thing than it was an academic thing. Even though all these years have passed, I still had that longing to have my diploma.
At age 30, Carissa finished her high school diploma.
If you're even considering getting your high school diploma, you can do it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Hear that? That's the sound of your life. Perfectly imperfect. Beating in rhythm to the world you've created. But every time you drive after drinking, the music gets drowned out. Your life sounds pretty great. Don't let a buzz ruin it. Buzz driving is drunk driving. Don't drive buzzed. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Doctors Without Borders is delivering life-saving medical care where it's needed most in communities around the world. From bandaging war-wounded patients in Sudan to providing clean drinking water in Haiti, we're in more than 70 countries worldwide, bringing patients from sick to recovering, from emergency to aid, from crisis to care. This life-saving care is made possible by a global movement of supporters like you. Thank you.
This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
I like them cool and kinda cocky, not too much to make them move. And try to lock me, try to take away the jewels. You cannot stop it, gotta understand the rules. I've been the type to wear the heart on my sleeve. Been the one to always choose the wrong play. Not the type to ever see me lonely. I keep my socks on during loving. In and out, baby, in and out.
Millicent wasn't done. She sent us a text message and said they could get 3 officers if they take them from Northwestern Mutual downtown all day. I don't even know what that means. There have to be, maybe this is the point that I need to be stressing. There have to be other measures in place that can also be crime preventative. And some of them are after school programs and youth programs and things that occupy kids, because kids are not just, we have to look at them in a couple different ways. They're not just the perpetrators of crime, they're also the victims of crime. So having youth programs, having anti-violence programs, I know we have violence interrupters and we have 414 Life. We have a whole bunch of different methods, means, and strategies to reduce crime, because you can't rely on the police. The police just enforce the law. The police can make an arrest and do the investigation. They cannot prevent crime. And if you have a heavy police presence in one particular area, what will happen is the elements of crime will just move somewhere else. It's a shell game. So there is no amount of police, because if you look at economic conditions, because when jobs are less plentiful and wages are low, crime does tend to go up. Now, poverty is not always a direct indicator of crime, but crime is always highest in the poorest of neighborhoods. How can policing decrease poverty? It can. If anything, policing costs poor neighborhoods even more money because their tax base is lower, but they've got to spend a disproportionate amount of their lower tax dollars on public safety. That is why we need development in our communities, and I've been trying to stress this. Without development, you're not having a property tax base where we can potentially increase the number of police. But me using the math that I use, we have a 96.1 square mile city. We've got 6,000 residents per square mile. We have 15 police officers per 6,000 residents. Even if you increase the number of cops by tenfold, that's 150 cops for 6,000 residents. If just 10% of the residents are involved in crime, that is still overwhelming the police. And then it would overwhelm the jails. Not to mention the expense. It's extremely expensive because when you pay a cop, you got to look at a cop as a forever kind of commitment, because we are paying their pensions until they die. And then when they die, we are paying their pensions to their spouses who might even live longer than that police officer was serving as a cop in the first place. So people can collect pensions and benefits for longer than they were even paying into the system. It is a huge financial burden. So yes, we may need more police, great, but it's going to cost us a tremendous amount of money, which I suppose is okay if we have places in the city that are generating revenue. And we can't always be picky when it comes to some of the development projects that are going to come in and generate revenue. We're not in a place like that. Now, if we were fully funded and if we had budget surpluses, then we can tell developers, no, we don't like that development. No, that's not going to meet our needs. No, we don't like this one. Aesthetically, we don't like that. And so what I'm saying in the meantime, to give us a little bit of a financial reprieve, is maybe we lean on the state budget, deploy the National Guard, reduce the police presence in the entertainment districts. People may or may not feel safer, but it won't drain the police resources from neighborhoods and communities that can't afford to lose. Of the 15 cops per square mile, they can't afford to lose a single police officer because we got to deploy more officers downtown to Brady Street and the Watershed. I hope that makes sense to you. Is it a permanent solution? It is not. But is it one that can give us a temporary reprieve? Because the overtime we're paying these cops, we're paying them essentially forever because it's padding their pensions. Their retirements are going to be higher. And we're on the hook for that as taxpayers long after that cop has finished serving the people in the city of Milwaukee. So it's just an economic strategy. But this is why development needs to be stressed. And also a lot of the available land in the city of Milwaukee, especially on the north side, nobody wants it. Nobody wants to build anything. You need to have a strong, robust, and educated workforce for most large-scale development to even consider investing money in buying that land. If I shared with you the output of our public school system, because a big developer or a company or a corporation that's looking for a new place for their headquarters, they want to see, okay, well, let's take a look at Milwaukee and let's see where the need is. Like, okay, they need jobs. Okay, good. Let's take a look at the labor force. Okay, they got a fair amount of people that are between the ages of 16 and 45. They got a decent population of available labor. Let's look at if they can read or not. Because an employer can't teach you how to read. They may train you how to do the job, potentially, but that's about the extent of it. If you don't have critical thinking skills, if you don't have soft skills, basic computer skills, you're just not going to be employed. So even when we look at numbers as far as unemployment goes, we have to look at the lack of skills that people have. Your employer is only buying your skills from you, but you have to have skills to sell. That is your value in the marketplace, and that is why education is incredibly important. And so I respect the fact that Tony Evers wanted to make a lifelong, forever commitment to investing in public education. But $400 a year is nothing. Imagine this. What if I just gave you an additional $400 a year? Would that move your needle? Just an increase in gas prices could eat up that $400. So when people hear that Tony Evers wrote into the budget with his line item veto an increase of school funding for $400 a year in perpetuity, that's literally nothing. In fact, if you increase my salary by $400 a year, it'd probably get eaten up by taxes. I wouldn't even see it. So just natural rises in prices can eat up that commitment to public education, but at least it was a commitment to make sure that we have an educated workforce. Because if we don't have an educated workforce, why would anybody come here? What is the point of bringing a company, bringing a business here, having them spend all this money and build a building and develop land that is essentially vacant, all for them to have to get their workforce from Waukesha? You're better off just building the building or having the development in Waukesha where the workforce is more educated and more skilled. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be back for Hour 3.
Don't touch that dial. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
I'm Sherwin Hughes, and I know the power of Stars and Stripes Honor Flight firsthand. As someone who's been on an honor flight, I can tell you it's a day you'll never forget. Stars and Stripes Honor Flight gives our oldest veterans who served in any location in June of 1975 or earlier a free one-day trip to Washington, D.C. for veterans. Airfare, meals, a coach bus tour, and special flight apparel are all included. It's a day of honor, gratitude, and camaraderie. Veterans who served in the Vietnam or Korean War go to flySSHF.org and ask for an application.
Mommy, can I sit in the front seat just this one time? Please, please, please.
No, not yet.
But why?
Because I love you, and you're just not ready yet. Now, get in the back so I can get you in your car seat, please.
Putting your kids in the right seat for their age and size is an act of love. Check that your kids are in the right seat at NHTSA.gov/the right seat. Love protects. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
In sitcoms, when someone has a problem, they just blurt it out and move on.
Well, I lost my job and my parakeet is missing. How was your day?
But the real world is different. Managing life's challenges can be overwhelming. So, what do? We get support. The Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council have mental health resources available for you at loveyourmindtoday.org. That's loveyourmindtoday.org. See how much further you can go when you take care of your mental health.
For 250 years, our armed forces have bravely served America. Wounded Warrior Project honors that legacy by supporting post-9/11 service members and veterans like Anthony, a Marine who was injured by a roadside bomb in Afghanistan.
They carried me through my injuries, not just my physical, but my mental. And seeing other vets doing the same thing helped me tell myself, hey, you can do this.
Join us in honoring warriors at woundedwarriorproject.org/America.
In the United States, a vehicle is stolen every 31 seconds, about as long as this message. Luckily, you can take a few easy steps to protect your car in the same amount of time. Remove your valuables, roll up your windows, don't leave your car running unattended, lock your doors, and take your keys or fob. If you have information about a crime, call the police. If you suspect insurance fraud, also call 800-TEL-NICB. A public service message from the National Insurance Crime Bureau.
You're listening to Milwaukee Black Talk on 101.7 FM.
The Truth.
And 1510 AM. W269DL. Milwaukee. A Milwaukee Black media company.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 101.7thetruth.com.
Welcome to Hour 3 of The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. In studio, Amber Miller, who is the Senior Associate State Director of Community Outreach for AARP. Amber, welcome to the studio. Appreciate having you here. So AARP is not just an organization or an association for retired folk. It actually extends its reach into all sorts of people and helping to make communities more livable for all folks. And I'll tell you, I got offended, Amber. I don't want to put this on you. When I first got some stuff in the mail from AARP, I was in my 40s. I was like, wait, what are you trying to tell me? But that is a part of expanding the scope and the reach of the organization, right?
Absolutely. I would say that's probably one of the, well, first of all, let me apologize. We didn't mean to stalk you in your 40s, so sorry about that. But I would say one of the biggest misconceptions is that you have to be 50 and older, or as some people say, oh, you have to be old, but you can actually be 18 and be a member. In Milwaukee County, I will say we have a handful of 18-year-olds because there is a big push on social media. Of course, everybody wants to try to save money. So I would say, a lot of the younger generation probably does it just for the discount, but then they're getting all the valuable information about caregiving and retirement and livable communities. So I would say that's one of the biggest misconceptions, and hopefully by the end of this interview, I can change people's minds about everything that we do.
Well, it also makes sense because if you have someone who is a member at 18, as life goes on and progresses, I'd imagine some of the benefits of the organization become a little bit more tangible. Like now, I don't mind that I'm old and I want a free cup of coffee. I want a senior discount. Even some places have a senior parking only. And they don't know how old I am. I might be looking young for my age. So I actually appreciate the benefits that come with being a little bit more seasoned.
Yes.
Speaking of benefits, 7 Milwaukee area projects won AARP grants that are aimed at making communities more livable for residents as they age. And so people may not associate these kinds of investments with AARP, but this is actually something the organization is involved in, making communities more livable for people of all ages. Tell us about these grants.
Yeah, I know. I'm excited. This makes up a lot of what I do in the state of Wisconsin, and I do reside in Milwaukee. So one of the things about 12 years ago, AARP, in partnership with the World Health Organization, came together and said, what can we do to make more, communities livable for all ages? So you're 8 years old, 80 years old or over, you should be able to cross the street safely. You should be able to have access to parks and green space, a variety of transportation, affordable housing, all these really amazing things. And with that, then AARP said, we want to amplify the work that communities are doing. So about 10 years ago, they started the AARP Community Challenge Grant. And as you said, it's for organizations like nonprofits, government, municipalities to be like, what are some quick action projects? So these are projects that are usually done within 4 to 6 months that can bring something to the community around, we'll probably be talking about some shortly, but to make it livable for all ages. And I'm proud to say in the state of Wisconsin, we have 14 communities that have signed on, and it's no cost. The most recent one is Milwaukee County. So County Executive Crawley, about a year and a half ago, along with his folks at the county, said, we want to be part of this. So they've been working hard over the last year and a half to do walk audits and get people's feedback and focus groups, and it's really bringing communities together.
One of our Milwaukee neighborhoods has been in the news recently. A lot of attention has been garnered on the Midtown neighborhood. In fact, the Midtown Neighborhood Alliance in Milwaukee will receive a $15,000 grant to transform a long-neglected vacant lot into an ADA accessible community garden featuring paths, seating, lighting, and food growing space. The project will support healthy aging, food access, social connection, among other things. So is this a good example of what these grants are intended to do to just overall improve the quality of life for residents of all ages?
This right here is the epitome, I think, of what the essence of the grant is, and not just the grant, but livable communities in general. And as you mentioned, Midtown has been in the news with one of the grocery stores closing and one of the pharmacies closing, which, for walkability, that was a lot of people's lifeline to food, so considered a food desert. So when you look at what they're going to be doing, transforming an old parking lot into a space where you can get fresh fruits and vegetables, they're going to be having music and, imagine families going up there, intergenerational. So to me, this is really the epitome of let's, activate space that nothing's happening, and let's start bringing value and livability to the local community. And Haney Smith over there at the Midtown Neighborhood Alliance, he is great. He is so passionate about his neighborhood as well as all the residents. So I'm excited for when it officially opens, hopefully later this year.
And these grants actually ease the burden on taxpayers because these investments that can be used by members of the public that are they're paid for by AARP actually helps reduce the cost to taxpayers for some of these services. The Jackson Park Community Association in Milwaukee will receive $14,155 grant to install 2 V-shaped benches at a busy park entrance near transit and parking. The benches will provide a safe space to rest and help people transition from the street to the park. The project will support easier access for those needing a break. Quote, "We are truly grateful for this grant and thankful for the opportunity to bring these benches to Jackson Park, where they will add comfort and connection for everyone who visits." Amber, I have to assume that because our society is aging, America is graying very, very quickly. In fact, the eldest of the baby boomers will be turning 80 in the year 2026. Does this also increase the need and the scope for AARP as the country just naturally gets older?
Yes. As you said, we're aging every single day, even though that's sometimes a hard pill to swallow for some, but we have to be prepared and we have to be ready. I think not only for AARP to be more in the community, I also think there's more than enough need for other organizations, government officials to start getting involved and looking at, are we designing the street for it to be safe for all ages? Pedestrian safety, hit and run, reckless driving is really big here in Milwaukee. What are we doing to combat that? Public transportation, MCTS is doing an amazing job of looking to see, as Jackson Park for benches, also, bus shelters. So if there isn't one community in the United States that has been prepared for an aging population, but we can do it. And I think Milwaukee County and City of Milwaukee proper can do it. It's all hands on deck.
The Sherman Park Community Association in Milwaukee will receive a $25,000 grant to offer internet access and basic computer classes for residents age 50 plus. At a community hub, older residents will gain digital skills while connecting to food and local resources. Quote, We are deeply grateful to AARP for investing in the Sherman Park community through its $25,000 grant, said Mabel Lamb, Executive Director of the Sherman Park Community Association, Incorporated. This support will help us expand internet access and provide basic computer classes for residents 50 and older. Too many older residents are left out of the digital world, and this grant will help bridge that gap by building digital skills, increasing confidence with technology, and connecting residents to food, home repair services, and legal and local community resources. Not the typical things we would associate with AARP, but I guess addressing community need where it exists is a big reason these grants exist.
Correct. And too, with the Sherman Park Community Association, first of all, they're just amazing over there. They saw that there was a need. And we know in the city of Milwaukee and a lot of places in the United States, there's still a big technology divide. People don't have access to laptops. People don't have access to Wi-Fi. But what could they do to help the local community? So they wrote this grant. It was amazing. We're very excited for them to start the computer courses and hopefully, empower people to get those resources and information or apply for jobs or look up recipes or be on social media. There's so many things that you can do, but they really saw that there was a need, and they did a great grant application. And once again, really the essence of livable communities is we don't want to, we want to ensure that everybody's empowered to have technology.
The digital divide is very real. I am sad to report, I want to give a warning to all of you, my 77-year-old mother just joined Instagram. So if you all get requests from my mother, I would highly suggest you not accept those because she should not be on Instagram at all. We're speaking with Amber Miller. She is the Senior Associate State Director for Community Outreach for AARP. Amber, the grants in total for Milwaukee total $100,000. Is that correct?
That is correct. $100,000 for city and county of Milwaukee, and then we have a grant down in the Racine area for $25,000. So the grand total is $125,000 within Southeast Wisconsin. But there were additional grants throughout the state, so it totals almost about $200,000 infused back into our state.
The grant period currently closed. Now it will be opening again, and it's open to neighborhood organizations, neighborhood associations, and nonprofits. When will we know more information about when the next grant period will open?
Yeah, it normally opens usually about the end of January. Application is due end of March, beginning of April. The one thing, and probably the one website, would be aarp.org/community challenge, which is all one word. Sign up for the e-newsletter. You'll be, contacted when the application is open. But two, the one thing, if you're thinking about, hey, my neighborhood needs this or my city needs this, make sure that you're also getting feedback from your neighbors and from the community so you're not doing this alone. Because if you do receive the grant, we want to, make sure that you can get that within that 4 to 6 month time period.
If someone wants to join AARP, how would they go about doing so? Really, all I have to do is just check the mail. But for someone else, people of any age, if they want to join the organization, how do they go about doing so?
So aarp.org is probably the best way you could sign up online. Most likely you also get a second membership for somebody living in your household. And I know, and we talked about this earlier, I'm not 50 yet, but I am a member. The 20-year-olds and the 30-year-olds, even the 18-year-olds, the 18-year-olds might be taking care of their grandparents. And they don't know that there's resources and information out there for caregiving. There was research done by AARP last year, especially in that 18 to 25 age group who are, in high school, going to college, how taking care of their loved one has affected their schooling. So imagine, joining or not joining, you can get information online of like, wow, I do have, resources and support for caregiving, or, my mom or my grandma or my loved one just got scammed. Scamming right now, especially for the senior 50 plus population, is on the rise. It's almost every day you can see an article. So all this really rich information could be found at, and also membership information at aarp.org. And we also have a lot of really fun stuff we do here in Milwaukee. We have Movies for Grownups, which is in person. You get a movie for free. We just did a cruise a couple weeks ago in partnership with Milwaukee Riverkeeper. So we also do a lot of stuff in person just to get out and connect with new people.
I'm looking at the benefits here,
Mm-hmm.
and I think, Amber, I think it's time. An AARP membership costs between $12 and $20 a year, which covers you and another household member. Perks include financial and retirement planning, exclusive insurance policies such as auto through Hartford and health and vision, hearing discounts, prescriptions, vision and dental, hearing, retail and dining discounts, travel, other rewards, insurance programs, scam protection, estate planning, all sorts of things.
Mm-hmm.
What a great organization.
Thank
and I
you.
think that it's time. And thank you for being here and sharing the
Yeah.
information about the grants with us.
Absolutely.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. We'll be right back.
Don't touch that dial. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 101.7thetruth.com.
Our children deserve a real chance to make it in life, and a good education is a passport to opportunity. At City Ford Collective, we're working to make sure there's a great Milwaukee school for every Milwaukee family, because more good options lead to better outcomes. And who doesn't want that? Together, we can give every child the foundation they need to thrive, and a stronger future for kids means a stronger future for Milwaukee. To learn more about our mission, visit us at cityfordcollective.org. That's cityfordcollective.org.
I always had to be so good, no one could ignore me. Carve my path with data and drive. But some people only see who I am on paper. The paper ceiling, the limitations from degree screens to stereotypes that are holding back over 70 million stars. Workers skilled through alternative routes, rather than a bachelor's degree. It's time for skills to speak for themselves. Find resources for breaking through barriers at tearthepaperceiling.org. Brought to you by Opportunity at Work and the Ad Council.
I'm Chris Jakimick. I served in the United States Air Force and I deployed 3 times. So in 2017, I was serving as an Air Force First Sergeant. Our motto in that role is my job is people, everyone is my business. But unfortunately in that year, I would lose my own brother, Lance Corporal Adam Jakimick, to suicide. The majority of veteran suicides are from guns. I store my weapons securely, not only for myself, but for my family. Store all your guns securely. Help stop suicide. My service never stops.
Brought to you by End Family Fire and the Ad Council.
And here's Heather with the weather.
Well, it's beautiful out there, sunny and 75, almost a little chilly in the shade. Now, let's get a read on the inside of your car. It is hot. You've only been parked a short time and it's already 99 degrees in there. Let's not leave children in the back seat while running errands. It only takes a few minutes for their body temperatures to rise, and that could be fatal.
Cars get hot fast and can be deadly. Never leave a child in a car. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Babes, what are you doing?
What? I'm just mowing the lawn.
No, it's blazing hot and dry out here. Don't you remember? Smokey Bear says.
Avoid using power equipment when it's windy or dry.
Where'd you learn this?
Oh, it's on
SmokeyBear.com with many other wildfire prevention tips.
Right. Thanks, honey bear.
'Cause remember, only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
When a warrior faces adversity, he fights through it. He finds a way. Freedom isn't free. Rolling strong. Belief. Believe you can, and you will.
Wheelchairs for Warriors provides mobility solutions to veterans and first responders injured in the line of duty. Join the mission and visit wheelchairsforwarriors.org.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 101.7thetruth.com.
For parents, choosing the right school is one of the most important decisions you will make. And at Milwaukee College Prep, we do not take that responsibility lightly. At Milwaukee College Prep, your child is more than just a student. They're a young person that we get to know by name, by strengths, and the areas where they need support most. Together as a family and a school, we'll work every day to help them grow and learn and build the confidence to reach their fullest potential. We partner closely with families, provide steady support, and act early when challenges arise so that every child can thrive. Your child's growth, well-being, and success are at the heart of everything they do at MCP. They would love to meet you and your child in person to share more about how you all can work together. Don't wait, limited seats available. Apply today at MilwaukeeCollegePrep.com. That is MilwaukeeCollegePrep.com, or call 414-264-6000, 414-264-6000. So send your kids to Milwaukee College Prep, and then I'll join AARP and get a discount on coffee at McDonald's. Oh, the discounts are incredible. For some reason, I thought it was more expensive. So if you join, let me see how much it is. $12 to $20. Is that a year or a month? No, it's got to be a month. Hey, I promise you, I'll join right now. Let me see. It's $12 to $20 a year. Prescription benefits, health benefits, dental and vision, hearing. Oh, I'd hate to need a hearing aid. I would be so sad if I lost my hearing. Some of y'all don't want to hear. Some of y'all talk too much. I want to tune some of y'all out already. I don't want hearing aids now, though. Now they're little. And you can even get like a cochlear implant where they put the hearing aid all up in your ear hole. If I was a married man, I wouldn't want a hearing aid because I don't want to hear all that nagging. We have a public service announcement. Like, first of all, I don't like PSAs. I literally hate them. But there's one that we play in very heavy rotation. And X, I really wish you would take it out. I don't know if you have the authority to do so. But it's one where a man is cutting the grass. And then his wife or some woman is like, stop cutting the grass because it's hot and dry outside. You're not supposed to cut the grass. It's literally a nagging PSA. Don't cut it, the grass. Xavier, do you know what I'm talking about? Do you know what PSA that is?
I know what you're talking about when it comes on, but I don't know what it looks like. But next time when I see it, I'll mark it for deletion.
Oh, you can take it out?
Oh, yeah. We have 1,000 PSAs.
I almost want to hear it because it makes me want to do the opposite. Because if I'm cutting the grass and then my nagging wife, don't cut the grass because it's going to start a wildfire. I'm like, guess what, woman? You cut the grass. Nothing says independent woman, I don't need no man, like a woman out there struggling to push a lawnmower. It's just such a masculine thing to do. I don't know what it is about seeing a woman cut the grass that just bothers me. A woman is not. Am I being sexist when I say that?
Yes.
Ladies, do you like to cut the grass? Nobody likes to cut the grass. Like, I don't mind it because I'm walking, I get to clear my head, and I'm outside because I got a very small yard, so it doesn't take very long, so I don't really mind it. But seeing a woman like struggling, push the lawnmower up the hill, especially if she has teenage sons. So a guy named Sherwin that calls the show, I think he called yesterday. He talked about this woman that he dated that had like a bunch of sons in their 30s, and they didn't cut the grass. Their mother had to cut the grass, and I think he ended up breaking up with her because he was offended that these more than grown men were not only living at home with their mother still, they weren't doing anything. What is that like? Do some of y'all have kids that are in their 30s that live at home? You don't make them do anything? I couldn't do it. I'd have to live with one of y'all before I live back at home with my mother. Now, my mother's getting older, and she does live by herself, and we want her to be okay. Thankfully, my brother lives nearby. But I could only live with my mother for, I couldn't even say like years. I couldn't even say months. It'd be minutes. Because no matter how old you are, they still treat you like you're a child. It never fails. I don't know how. I know rent is expensive. I know that there's a larger number of, older adults, older kids, I should say, that are still living with their parents. But come on, you got to get your life together. You got to lock in. You got to get your own place. I just can't. It's not worth it. I think the money that you spend to have your own place where you can do what you want and walk around with no clothes on it's worth it. It really is. And maybe you need to go and sharpen your skills so you can get a better job, make a little bit more money to have your own place. Because who wants to?
Sounds terrible.
Oh, my God. No way would I want to live at home. I couldn't wait to leave home. Very little of me wanted to stay in that house. God rest my father, love him to death, love my mother, but I got a shelf life living because I got stuff that I want to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I might want to bring a date home.
Exactly. Your sex life will be null and void.
There's compromises I suppose you can make, but at some point, fellas, you got to have your own place because there's nothing attractive about a man that lives with his mama. That's not cool. Or even a woman that lives at home still. Like I feel somewhat guilty if I'm involved with now this hasn't happened in decades, but if I'm going to visit a woman where she lives, because sometimes women will invite you over for a nightcap, and we got to be quiet because my parents are sleeping in the next room. And I'm thinking to myself, now I don't say this out loud, I'm thinking if the rest of this evening goes as planned, your parents are about to get woke up.
How old was she?
We were both probably in our 20s. A woman that's in her 30s that is living at home, no thank you. Toxic. Can't do it. Get your life together. You're irresponsible. You're not going to do anything for me. Can't help you. And then she'll have the nerve to talk about, I bring everything to the table. Why don't you bring a house key to the table? You ever thought about that? Bring that to the table. I am the table. You don't even have a table. It's your parents' table. You sit at somebody else's table talking about you bring stuff to. This is also the same kind of people that when you ask them to bring something to the cookout, they bring napkins. Can't have that. Because no, if she is sneaking me in her house when she lives with her parents, like that's nothing cool about that because we're going to Pound Town and it's not a round trip ticket. It's one way. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, get your lives together, you guys. Don't live with your parents forever, even though your parents may love having you there. There's something about independence. I'm also coming to find out that this younger generation of teenagers, they don't even want to drive. They don't even want to get a driver's license. What is that like? There was no better freedom. In fact, I would equate, I don't even know what you can compare it to. Turning 16 and passing your driver's test and getting your driver's license there's no feeling like it. I don't even know what can replicate that feeling. It's a major milestone. It showcases your independence because now you're mobile, assuming that you have a car. But just being able to go wherever you want and not have to rely on somebody for a ride is just, that freedom is unmatched. And it also encourages young people, or at least it used to explore, to go and ride around. Like that was a leisure activity for us. We pack a bunch of people on my Camaro and we would just ride. Nowhere to go. Didn't matter. We go down by the lake. We would cruise Highway 100. That was a fun leisure time activity, and we weren't causing any trouble. We weren't breaking any laws. We were just cruising. And then you see a car full of girls, and turn around. Let's go talk to the girls. And you turn around, and you catch up to the girls, and they're at a red light, and you're at a red light, and you roll down the window, and then the girls roll their window up, and they take off. It's all part of the game. There was such an innocence about adolescence. Now everybody is insane and everybody smokes weed all the time. I'm going to take a break, come back. I got some crime statistics for you. In the year 2025, the FBI has got all of the crime data updated on their universal crime reporting website of all the crimes that were, all of the arrests in 2025. There were 33,140,025 arrests in 2025. Of the 33,140,025 arrests, 24,131,658 of those arrests were men. 9,008,367 of those arrests were women. I'm also going to give you breakdowns and details by race. Which race was arrested more? I'm going to tell you who the thugs are. I'm going to tell you who to avoid. I'm going to tell you why you need the concealed carry or the open carry or whatever kind of carry you need. I'm going to tell you who the dangerous people are on the other side. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. Will be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Here's the deal. We gotta set ourselves up. See, retirement is the long game. We gotta make moves and make them early. Set up goals. Don't worry about a setback. Just save up and stack up to reach them. Let's put ourselves in the right position. Pre-game to greater things.
Start building your retirement plan at thisispretirement.org. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
For 75 years, the Muscular Dystrophy Association's voices have thundered through the halls of Congress.
For 75 years, we've willed the impossible into existence.
For 75 years, the MDA community has pushed the science,
shifted the narrative, and established the field of neuromuscular medicine.
And until that day when this is all a thing of the past,
you couldn't stop us if you tried.
Join us and celebrate 75 years of breakthroughs at MDA75.org.
You can't buy a best friend. You can love them, walk them, pet them, and care for them, whether they want you to or not. You can take a picture or 50. You can fly to the moon, travel the world, or just stay in bed. You can't buy a best friend like that, but you can adopt one. There are millions of pets waiting for a best friend just like you. Help us save them all at bestfriends.org.
Talking about guns with others might not always feel comfortable, but it could save a life. Here's a way to start a conversation. Your family is going over to your neighbor's home for dinner for the first time. How would you ask if there are any unlocked guns in the home?
Hey, we're so excited for tonight. Before we come over, though, may I ask if there are any unlocked guns in your home?
Our guns are stored securely, locked in a safe that the kids can't access.
Awesome.
Learn how to have the conversation at agreetoagree.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Wherever there's a need in our communities, there's a United Way. Improving lives so everyone can thrive. Where more people can gain access to health care and nutritious food for their tables. Where more community members can benefit from financial education and get connected to local resources for housing support. And where children are given more chances to reach their full potential. Community is where we find our strength and where we share our hope. United is the way. Visit unitedway.org.
Are people around me safe when I vape? Science does not support that belief. Exhaled vape emissions linger in the air, affecting indoor air quality and bystanders in the same space through secondhand exposure. Vaping emissions can also accumulate on clothes, hair, dust, and furniture, leading to exposure risks to bystanders of all ages. And vaping around a pregnant person can lead to serious health impacts on fetal and childhood development. Enough with the puff. Learn more at ul.org/vaping.
This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
At UW Milwaukee, students don't have to wait until college to start building their future. Roar Ready lets students K through 12th grade join in on hands-on programs across campus, from science and tech to arts and sports and more. Students try new things and meet new people and build skills that matter. Get started today at uwm.edu/roarready. That's uwm.edu/roarready. Roar for Roar. UWM is a great school. It is better than Marquette. And if you went to Marquette, I feel sorry for you and your family. So there's that. You know who else I feel sorry for? The victims of all of these crimes that are committed in America. Of the 33,140,025 arrests in the year 2025, 24,131,658 of those arrests were men. Men, you are dangerous. But also, just looking at that arrest number, that's 10% of the U.S. population was arrested last year. That's pretty significant. And this is not including citations and tickets or warnings. This is, you're in custody, sir or ma'am, but statistically, sir. So men are more violent. Sometimes men deserve it, though. Women, 9 million arrests. That's nothing to shake a stick at either. You ladies are violent too. What about if I break it down by race? Arrests by race. So it's interesting because the total number of arrests by male and female, because there's a discrepancy in the numbers by 3,000 people. So if we look at the genders that were arrested, men and women, is 33,140,000. But if you look at race, which includes all genders, that number is actually lower. So I'm not sure, or it could account for some jurisdictions don't report in a timely manner their arrest records and other information to the FBI. So maybe that accounts for the disparity. So the categories we have are, well, not all of them. White, black, unknown, American Indian, or Alaska Native. Of those racial categories, there were 33,137,160 arrests. Of the 33,137,160 arrests by race in America in 2025, 21 million of them were white. Well. Look at the master race showing what it is the master of, being downright thugs. Of the 33,137,160 arrests in 2025, 21,338,212 of those individuals were white. Black people only accounted for 9,658,324 arrests. And the next categories are small. The unknown racial category, 700,000. American Indian or Alaska Native, 700,000. And Asian only accounted for 481,000 arrests. Categories by age, between the ages of 30 and 34, 3.7 million arrests. 20 to 29, 3.3 million arrests. 35 to 39, 3.2 million arrests. You would think that these numbers would drop precipitously as people get older, but it doesn't seem that they do. I think that older people probably just commit different crimes. Those between the ages of 40 and 44, 2.6 million of them were arrested. And then 45 to 49, we do start seeing a pretty significant drop. Only 1.8 million arrests for those age 40 to 45. What do we got for categories? All other offenses, 11,183,000. Simple assault, 4.4 million arrests. Drugs and narcotic offenses in 2025 netted 4.3 million arrests. Driving under the influence netted 3.4 million arrests. Larceny, theft, netted 2.9 million arrests. What else we got here? What is this here? Driving under the influence. Drug possession, 1,536,260 arrests for drug possession. This is a crime-ridden nation. So if we're talking about crime in the city of Milwaukee, we just basically fit into a national conversation about crime. So that was 2025. Here we go. First look. 2025 crime data. This information is based on data submitted by more than 17,000 American law enforcement agencies, covering about 96% of the American population for the year 2025. This increase from 16,675 agencies the previous year. More than 15,000 agencies submitted their data via the National Incident-Based Reporting System, or the NIBRS. These agencies cover nearly 90% of the U.S. population. Nearly 500 more agencies reported via NIBRS in 2025 compared to 2024. The following data are considered preliminary and are subject to change prior to the release of the, quote, reported crimes in the nation, which will be published on the FBI's Crime Data Explorer website later this year. On average in America, A violent crime occurs every 28.2 seconds. In America, one murder occurs on average every 37.3 minutes. On average, in America, one rape occurs every 4.3 minutes. On average, in America, every 3.1 minutes, someone is getting robbed. On average, in America, one aggravated assault happens every 38.8 seconds. That's a lot of asses getting kicked. Somebody getting their ass kicked every 38 seconds. You better mind your P's and Q's. A property crime occurs, on average, in America, every 6 seconds. One burglary takes place in America, on average, every 47.7 seconds. One larceny theft takes, oh my God, you're a bunch of thieves. One larceny theft occurs in the United States of America every 8 seconds. Oh, here's a monster right here. I know this one has got some of y'all. One vehicle is stolen in America on average every 46 seconds. However, violent crime between the years 2024 and 2025 is down 9.3%, but you still had 1.1 million incidents of violent crime. While being down 9%, I guess it's worthy of note. In the grand scheme of things, there were still 1.1 million violent crimes in America between 2024 and 2025. Property crimes decreased by 12%, even though there were still 5,245,768 property crimes in America. There were 413,991 violent crime arrests. 47.4% of violent crimes were cleared by arrest or exceptional means. 868,330 property crime arrests. 17.4% of property crimes were cleared by, that's not a lot, were cleared by arrest or exceptional means. 53 officers feloniously killed in the line of duty. Now, holy crap, this is why nobody wants to be a cop. 90,178 police officers were physically assaulted. 28 officers were accidentally killed in 2025. 17,075 agencies submitted crime data to the FBI, which is 2.4% more than the previous year. So our crime reporting data is getting more accurate as more and more agencies are choosing to share their information with the FBI. I'm going to take a break, come back. And so by the time I come back from this break, hold on, don't go to break. You need to relax. Hold on, dog. You trying to rush me for? You can't rush this greatness. By the time I come back from break, 5 burglaries would have occurred. 10 cars would have been stolen, and no. Yes, 5 cars would have been stolen, and somebody's going to get robbed. Now you can take me to break. Now we can't go to break. Now, there you go.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
The possibility of lung cancer can be pretty scary, especially if you're one of approximately 8 million current or former smokers at high risk. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know that now there's a breakthrough low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early, and it only takes 60 seconds. You stop smoking, now start screening. For an easy quiz to see if you're eligible, visit SaveByTheScan.org. It could save your life. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
Reading aloud to children sharpens their listening skills, expands their vocabularies, and nurtures a lifelong love of reading. That's why Reading is Fundamental, the nation's leading children's literacy nonprofit, offers free monthly read-alouds by popular authors through its Rally to Read program. Visit rallytoread.org to watch the read-alouds and discover exciting reading activities for school and home. Visit rallytoread.org today.
We asked parents who adopted teens to share their journey.
When I met both of them, it was like my missing pieces were found. Like it was just like an instant, these are my kids. If you're considering adopting a teen, just do it. Kids need families. I don't care the age, everybody deserves a family.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. Visit adoptuskids.org to learn more. A message brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
Not completing high school is more of a social thing than it was an academic thing. Even though all these years have passed, I still had that longing to have my diploma.
At age 30, Carissa finished her high school diploma.
If you're even considering getting your high school diploma, you can do it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Looking to discover and support local businesses in our community? Then make sure you tune in every Friday at 8 a.m. to Truth in the Morning with Homer Blow and Bailey Coleman for What the Business Is, powered by We Energies. Each week, you'll hear from local business owners as they share what their business is, where they're located, and one valuable lesson they've learned along the way. We Energies is proud to help power local business in the communities they serve. Don't miss What the Business Is every Friday at 8 a.m. only on Truth in the Morning with Homer Blow and Bailey Coleman, powered by We Energies, delivering the energy that powers local business. Willie made a comment in the YouTube. I want to read Willie's comment because it makes sense. He says, with all those crimes being committed, what race do you normally see on the local news the most? Us! Because we commit the most violent crimes. So here's what is kind of, I guess, deceiving about those numbers. So in the United States, where white people still are the majority in population, of course they're going to commit the majority of the crimes, and they're going to make up the majority of the people arrested. Unless the category is homicide, where black people leaps and bounds, we kill way more people than anybody else. We murder at a higher rate that's like way above our proportion of the population. We're like responsible for like 50% of the murders in this country. It's just crazy. We do a lot of murdering. But because Milwaukee is a majority non-white city, and property crimes don't make the news. So white people might be just like stealing lawnmowers and snow blowers out of garages, and they might be breaking into houses. That stuff doesn't make the news. Shootings, non-fatal shootings, homicides, that's the stuff that makes the news. And we absolutely do make up a disproportionate share of those kinds of crimes. Also, like property crimes, it's not newsworthy. You want to know where somebody got killed, not whose bike got stolen. And I know that we've oftentimes had an issue with how the local news reports on us, but it's a simple fix, or it's simple in practice, or in theory, rather. There are days in which nothing happens on the north side, where no black people are harming any black people. And you know what the news media talks about? Puppy mills, adopting puppies and cats. They do these weird fill-in stories that are stupid or of no interest. They base news coverage off of what we are doing, but we are giving them things to cover. So yes, there might be some bias. Also, we complain about, here's another one. So when there's an arrest and there's a suspect in custody, if it's a black person, you're going to see the mugshot. You're going to see them wearing their jumpsuit. And then some people may take that as, oh, if it's a white person, we don't have their mugshot. You know where those mugshots come from? A previous arrest. It's not always, okay, somebody gets arrested for attempted murder, right? And then you'll see their mugshot, and it's an African-American man. You might say, oh, that's not fair, because if it was a white person, they wouldn't have the mugshot. Sometimes those white people, where there's no mugshot, they don't have a mugshot on file, because they didn't commit a previous offense. If your mugshot is already on file and you commit another crime, absolutely the media is going to put that picture all over the television, all over their news media websites. Absolutely. But if there is no mugshot, no previous offense, then there is no picture. You know what I'm saying? What else we got in the YouTube? Reggie, you just are in your own world, bro. Like, he's just asking the YouTube chat if anyone has seen his gun cleaning kit laying around. He just types stuff. He just types things.
I feel like you have a lot of people that are watching that might be
on dope.
Yes, or mentally challenged.
Oh, good Lord. Of course.
Bob.
Don't bring him up. Leave Bob out of this today. We didn't hear from Bob today, and that's actually a good day. Sometimes no news is good news. Sometimes
no Al today either.
Al is busy. He's a very busy fella. He does many busy things. That's okay. Al called us last night on the Hughes Views 414 podcast. Oh, by the way, no Hughes Views 414 tonight or tomorrow. I think I may broadcast something. Xavier sent me a little footage of the Midtown documentary that he shot. I might post that. We'll see. I also got to be realistic. It's summertime, and I got stuff to do. Broadcasting on YouTube 5 days a week in the summertime from 7 until 8 is not smart because I want to be in the streets doing hood rat stuff.
7 to 8? 8 o'clock is prime time to get out in the streets.
Mm-mm.
What do you got to do at 7?
No, I get out early.
Oh.
Because I'm not out there when the fools are out there late at night. I'm home. I would prefer to be home by midnight. Unless it's an extenuating set of circumstances, but I don't like to be out late.
See, when you're out late at night, to avoid the chaos of downtown, you got to make your way over to like the Third Ward. You got to make your way over to Bayview. That's where you'll see me hanging out because the people haven't discovered that yet.
Well, don't tell them.
Well, I don't think they're listening. It's a little bit too early for them. I guess the replay they'll listen, but
Thursday is the start of Bastille Days. I'll be holding court at Bastille Days. That's my favorite festival. If the YNs ruin Bastille Days, it will be an all-out war. I will launch an offensive on the YNs because that is, for me, it is the single summer festival that I look forward to. I don't look forward to any of the other ones. The other ones are boring or they're tourist traps or they're overrated. I go to Bastille Days and I go on opening night of Bastille Days. I've been going to opening night of Bastille Days for a very, very long time. I love Bastille Days. If you YNs ruin Bastille Days, I will ruin you. It will be war. I'll call Trump. I'll call him. Tory Lowe got his number. Tory Lowe, I'll tap Tory, call Trump. Sherwin, what do you need? I've been waiting for you to ask me to deploy the National Guard on the YNs. We have a special YN unit. Good. Don't ruin my festival. They're already starting to creep up in places where they ain't supposed to creep up at. I'm going to tell you what, y'all can have Brady Street, you can have Water Street. By all means, please, take it over. Own it. Don't do it. Don't come.
It's too close to my house.
Cathedral Square is a beautiful, pristine, untouched, virginal, promised land of fun and excitement. Don't take the virginity of Cathedral Square. Leave it alone. It's Cathedral Square because there's a cathedral. There's a church there. It's a very holy and sacred place. Don't ruin this for me. I'm very serious. So Thursday, that's where I'll be. That's why I won't be broadcasting on the Hughes Views 414. I mean, I technically could come home and broadcast, but I don't think you want to hear me in that kind of shape that I'll be in. So I think I'm going to revise the schedule of my evening podcast digest. Right now I'm doing them 5 days a week. Well, I did them only 3 days last week because I took a little bit of a vacation. So maybe we'll do them as needed or maybe Mondays or Tuesdays, or I'll keep you guys posted on when we're going to. I'm going to have a different summer schedule, I think, for those broadcasts. Oh, by the way, if you haven't done so already, subscribe to Hughes Views 414 on YouTube, where I do a digest of stories of the day or news that broke after I get off the air here. Or sometimes we might need to dedicate a little bit more time and space to things I talked about during the day. And also, it is very uncensored, as you will quickly find out once we take a telephone call from Al, because, yes, we do take telephone calls on Hughes Views 414. Linda called yesterday as well, and she was her normal, regular, uncensored, and vulgar self. So, yeah, we have a good time. But 5 days a week, that's a little ambitious. I want to be able to enjoy my summer because this is Silver Fox summer. And so far, 6, 7. It's been okay.
You've been failing your little self?
It's moving at a consistent pace because I don't want to burn myself out because I'm old. I can't be out there like I used to be. I got it a little bit at a time. See, I don't need to be out there every single night like I was when I was younger. I had the stamina for it then. I ain't got the stamina for it now.
Are you against using, performance enhancers?
Don't need them.
Oh.
But if I needed them, why wouldn't I?
You don't have to need them to use them.
I got to be careful. I might have a heart attack. You know what I mean? I'm already.
Sometimes, you just want to destroy somebody.
No, I don't.
Oh, no.
First of all, 2 minutes.
Oh, no,
I don't know
no.
Whatever damage I can do in 2 minutes, that's all you got. So
you're trying to send someone home in a wheelchair,
I'm not.
Oh, I am.
First of all, if I happen to send her to that kind of pound town, it's going to be harder to get rid of her because she can't walk. Get out. I need you to leave. There's nothing left here. I have nothing for you. I'm done. What are you looking at me for? Yeah,
you pick her up and you walk her out to the car.
You got to be careful though, because if they really enjoy themselves, they don't want to leave. And I'm sleeping alone. Unless I really, really like her. But get out.
Nothing wrong with a little all-night fest.
No.
What? Oh,
no.
Sometimes that's fun.
I ain't got time for all that. All night.
All night, yeah. Just not all one session. You take a little break, have a couple pineapples, a little drink, a little smoke, a little conversation, and you get ready for the next round.
Saving these hoes. I'm trying to save my sanity. Get out. Because you know what? You got to be subtle because you can be kind of rude. So what'll happen is we have concluded, right? We're all done. And I got to be nice because you don't want to be mean. And I just, you look at him and be like, what you finna do? Yeah, what you got something to do? Okay, then. Because, I think I'm going to, I'm getting a little sleepy.
Well, what if I want to stay? I brought my spend the night bag.
You better take it back home and spend the night at your house.
Well, but I just thought that we were.
No, that's your problem. You were thinking.
How rude. You don't want a morning session?
Not necessarily. I don't want my routine interrupted. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not. So a younger Sherwin, oh, God, absolutely. Whining, dining, romancing. Oh, darling, stay with me for the next several days. I want to make love to you. I want you to be here when I get home from work. Now,
that's crazy right there.
I used to be just, more of a romantic guy, but not for what? Because then they're going to start thinking that they're your girlfriend and stuff, and now you got a problem. And
you don't want romance in your life?
When I want it. On occasion, not all the time. Because I don't want to get in a situation where, because this is what ultimately happens. Like you're dating and it's wonderful and it's beautiful and you're in the honeymoon phase. And then once you start getting serious, now all of her problems become yours. At that point, I'm out. Unless she's totally problem free, have yet to meet a woman that is such. Or there's a whole bunch of stuff that she doesn't know how to do, or she's irresponsible, or she believes it's somebody else's duty to take care of where she falls short. I'm not the guy for that. Like, I'm not in the business of babysitting and taking care of grown women because they think, well, the man is supposed to do this. Well, then go find you one. I'm not saving. Now, I used to save them. I used to love saving them. I'm a hero. I'm going to save the damsel in distress. It ain't worth it.
Now you're just a thrasher.
More like a gentle boat ride.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? I'm not in there trying to kill it, try to murder it. I'm not trying.
Yeah.
I'm just,
Just a little short boat ride and you're off. Oh, that's your rhythm?
Thank you for listening. The lunch break is up next. Hi, this is Sherwin Hughes from 1017 The Truth, and I want to talk to you about something bigger than just buying a house. I'm talking about building a legacy. Owning a home isn't just about four walls and a roof. It's about giving your kids a place where memories are made, where birthdays are celebrated, and where they always belong. It's about planting roots, knowing your neighbors,